All right, everybody. Welcome to the session here. My name's Rodrigo. I'm going to be here with Nick Chahine, lead trader from the Options Inner Circle chat room. What's going on, Azraf? We got a couple hundred people here, but basically a couple shout outs here. Obviously, you know, we have Nick Chahine in the house. Arthur, Frank, what's going on? James Brown, Joseph, Philip, Peter Shetter, Stanley, what's going on? All right, we got a packed house here, folks. So basically right now, Nick Chahine was in a live session that he does every Sunday for his group members. So we will be covering trade ideas from Nick Chahine, right? His formula, how he's doing these trades. We're going to talk about different sectors, options, education, setups for options as well through the chain, the options chain. We will be talking a little bit about crypto, energy, buy, sells, market discussions. Pretty much by the end of this session, you will have a much better understanding of the market environment. And if you do want to take it to the next level, you can always join Nick, right? So at the end, we will do a Q&A. We'll show you the actual live room with Nick Chahine where you can check it out. Typically, we would do this live with Nick, but since COVID, we decided to do this stuff virtually and it works out better for everyone. So we do have Nick Chahine in the back. I think we're good to go here. Folks, if this is the first time that you're in this session, put a 1 in the chat. If you've been here before, put a 2. And let's go ahead and bring on the man of the hour here, Nick Chahine. Let's go.
It never gets old. It never gets old. How the intro is amazing. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
Yeah. So while the people look at the chat there, Nick, I just wanted to basically run a couple of polls here so we can get a sense really of the audience today, right? There are a lot of ones, which is good. So yeah, basically, Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself while we get a couple of the polls in. A little bit about yourself as a trader here with Benzinga.
Okay, so been doing business with Benzinga for over a decade. And the way it started is important to tell you how it started with Benzinga, because I was doing this all by myself for fun, sharing for fun. And then I thought, okay, somebody reached out to me and said, you think you should get together with this company, and tell them what you do, because nobody was doing it at the time, which is creating income from using option spreads, the boring way to trade. So I'm not saying that everybody should switch to this style of trading, but it applies to a lot of situations that we have right now. Like there's a lot of belief that stocks are good, but sometimes people are hesitant because this reason or another that have nothing to do with the stock itself. So then you're shy about trading it. And when you do trade it, you're putting so much on the line. So there are alternative methods to create income from the support you see without needing a rally or anything. So leaving room for error. And I'll go through a few examples. So that's how it started with Benzinga, me sharing a way that should be boring to make money out of fundamentals. And if you have a thesis, you can use credit spreads in order to make money and put that into action without much risk. I mean, there's not a ton of risk in it. And when they do go wrong, and they do go wrong, it's statistically unusual. So
right, Nick. So we got the first results of the poll in of what is the most, what is most important to you as a trader. And looks like, I mean, if you can see that there, the majority of people there
cash flow
are looking for cash flow, which is what you're able.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So I'll share real life trades to illustrate that point that we just did for the group. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, simple logic, simple, good, applying just simple caution without chasing. And you mentioned the fact that I spent this morning doing a live webinar with my members, and I did. I had about 70 people. This is, mind you, after spending an entire week with me, 9 hours a day, and they still find it okay for them to spend another 2 hours for me on Sunday. So clearly we're doing something right. So during the week, I have the attention of 330 to 350 traders for 9 hours every day, me sharing my screen like I'm going to share with you in a little bit. And then 70 of those people come into the live room, the webinar on Sunday. And we're going to get back together tomorrow morning. So they're clearly dedicated. They clearly see value to come back. The room is amazing. The people in it are amazing. I'm learning so much. Don't trade alone.
Right. So
cash flow and alone are two big problems. People are chasing big pies in the sky, and they're trying to do it alone. It's a lonely world out there. So you are right
about that. We ran a quick poll there for the folks. If they're trading alone, it was sharing the results there. Over 80% of the people watching here are basically trading at some form on their own.
So here's the difference of why you wouldn't want to trade alone. You have 320, 330, 350 people looking out for you. Let's say you're long something, and you mentioned, hey, I'm going long this. If this, whatever this is, drops out of the blue, or if somebody has heard something that you need to pay attention to, then you're going to be all over it. They're going to help you out. This is no doubt. So let me steal the screen if you're okay, and we'll start talking specifics.
Yeah, I think at this point we're good to go. We have the right crowd here, and I know you have the answers for what they're looking at for. So take it away.
Thing. Cash flow, income, same thing. So somebody's asking a legitimate question. So what's the difference between cash flow and income? So in fact, if I were to label it, it's how to create income with credit spreads. So and I want it to be consistent, and I'll share with you. So you're looking at my screen. This is what people would be looking at during the week. This is the list that I just went through today, over 100, 115, 120 tickers. And I sense the theme. So I'll tell you the theme from all of this. People are chasing. Now they feel better about something. I don't know why. I felt okay going long at the bottom cautiously. And now I'm not chasing. I'm booking the profits. And I know where I would chase higher. So the cash flow I'm talking about is creating income out of good tickers and out of great charting skills. So the only way you could lose is one scenario blows you out. Like for example, MasterCard reported last week. So did Visa and American Express. So as soon as MasterCard reported, I took a position. I said, okay, the risk of headline just left, and I see good support. I see good resistance. Let's try to make money off of that. And I laid out a trade that should pay money in the next couple of weeks. What else? A couple of stocks dropped. Johnson & Johnson reported and dropped. I didn't know whether it was going to be a bottom or not, but I knew it was falling into support. So I sent out a trade to the members, and the trade paid right away. And it continues to pay, and it's almost at maximum gains. I didn't need a rally. I just needed not to collapse. It fell on earnings. I looked at the reaction. I looked at the chart. I looked at the earnings report. There was nothing, no new information. So I thought that the support will hold, and it held. And I took a risk that left room for error. So this is just one example of a recent dip on earnings. So this is a 1 hour chart. In J&J, clearly the company doesn't need an introduction. So I said, okay, I can take a risk out to February and leave room for error. So that risk now is pennies. So I can buy it back for pennies. I collected a lot to open, and now I can pay to get it back off to take the risk off. So in case you don't know what credit spreads are, everybody, like for example, if you were traditionally using trading this company, they reported earnings down here. Actually, let me open up the chat room to see if somebody's saying something I need to address right away. Give me a minute. I'll put it out here. Okay, so we have different levels of expertise here, so I'm trying to capture everybody. So it just reported earnings, and they had a negative reaction to earnings, and I looked at it without zooming out. I have a buy to dip opportunity here, which is in contention right now, and a one below it. So I clearly saw support somewhere in here, support here. So it is falling. So the way I reacted to it is different than somebody that doesn't do options. They want to buy rallies. They want to buy here to sell here. Everybody wants to buy low, sell high if they're not shorting. So I don't know if it's going to, I did not know if it was going to do this, but I knew it was going to stop falling. Confident, more confident in saying this than that. So I'm not confident as much as confident saying that it was going to do this. I was more confident saying it wasn't going to be here. So if that's an easier statement, I can make money off of that statement. I don't have music here. I don't know where that music is coming from. It's not from me. There's no music anywhere here. So this is a scenario where that is how I made money. I collected the maximum value that I can make from this trade, but I didn't need a rally. I left room for a drop. And the only way I would lose if this happens and I don't do anything. So this is the easiest way of doing it. That the implied volatility did not help me on this one. No, this is a spread. So we'll address that later. Remind me a little bit later. So the concept is to tell you that there's a lot of money to be made boringly by saying, I don't know if it's going to rally. I'm not sure it's not going to drop, but I'm fairly confident it's not going to crash. If I can say those things, I can make money the boring way. And how much? 12 to 15% yield on the amount of risk. So how to place it? I just told you exactly how I place it. I want to collect 12 to 15%. So that tells me if you know your options, I like to sell deltas that are not higher than 0.15. So I want to stay under 0.15. So basically, I'm saying that I would rather risk a little bit more money to have a safer bet than risk less at a coin flip scenario. When you buy shares, when you buy calls, you're basically coin flipping. Why? Because you have just as much statistical advantage as your seller. So you're buying shares, and the person that sold the shares to you, and there is another person on the other side, thinks the exact opposite of you. And you either of you have exactly the same odds. It could go up, it can go down. You give yourself perceived advantage. With options, I give myself mathematical advantage. I know for a fact that mathematically, if I sell a delta that's this low, I have 85% odds over my opponent who is selling me this. So this is the scenario. So I made money without putting myself at immediate risk. This is the kind of boring, lazy trades I like to take. And this is just one. I named two, actually. I just named MasterCard. The trade's still unfolding. This trade paid out already. Help me. Who else? Microsoft. Microsoft reported, and I came up with a range and shared an iron condor, which also paid. So this purple box, you can take that to the bank, was the violent reaction from the earnings spike and the dip. And here's fun fact. I also shared with people the reaction for Tesla and this one, and they were spot on. And I'll share Tesla with you for a second. I'm giving you intangibles as to what happens if you're in the room with us. You're going to learn a bunch of stuff about everything there is, because I've been doing this more than 10 years. Even if I'm a donkey, I've picked up some tricks that a lot of people don't have. So I can read charts pretty well in plain, simple English. I'm not from Wall Street. I'm an engineer who has a business degree in finance, and I figured this stuff out on my own. And charts are easy to read, and I can share my knowledge and how to make money off of that. The options, they're easy to read, not easy to read. They are readable, and they're super accurate. So you know how they say, I say it, don't trade opinions, trade facts. Okay. So dots on a chart are facts. They're not opinions. This happened. This happened. You can't take that away from me. So I know how to interpret facts. Options, they're facts. I'll show you in a second. I have one here. Hold on. This is an options chain. Every dot here is a fact. Every order, every position is a fact. There is money there. So if I know there is money there, I know how to make money off of it. Okay, so these are facts. It's easier to bank on facts. Those two things, I can read the reaction to the earnings, and it's fairly accurate. So in Microsoft's reaction, I said it could pop. I think I said it's easier to pop than to fall or something like that. And I said, but it should find resistance. And I said, if it could fall, and if it falls into 231, it will find buyers. And look at where it bounced. This is, I believe, is 231, 230.9. So, and now what? Now nothing. It's stuck inside that purple box. This is violent. This is violent. So you're trading the box. How? You send out an iron condor. What is that? An iron condor? Yes, they're beautiful. This is basically says, I know we're not going to collapse. I know we're not going to go to the moon, and you can do an iron condor off of that. So these are little things that we do. And this stuff happens live, and the lessons live are insane. I'll give you an example. On this day, I said, okay, when it just happened, if you were watching, they reported earnings right here, and a violent rally, and then a violent dip, and then they went back to where they were. So I said, I had a mini lesson on how to profit from owning calls after hours. So how many of you here have bought, I'll get to that, Robert, ask me in a little bit, have bought calls on a stock, and it rallies after hours. And then you go, I wish the market was open for me to book my calls. And then this happens the next morning, and you lose money on your calls. How many have been in that situation as you have? How about if I show you a way to lock your profits after hours in calls, in options? Anyone interested? Say yes, because it's fun. Yes. Okay, good. All right, let's lay it out. I'm going to involve the people that don't know much about calls. All right, so lesson number one. See, this stuff happens every day. And if I say, okay, we have 340 people, lesson time, pull out your notebooks, and I take a pause and I go over a concept. I kid you not, this happens every day. Okay, here's a concept that you may not have been aware of. So in case you don't know what calls and puts are, they're options, and they look like this. So who is this? SPY. That's not a good example. Let's go to Apple. Apple reports this week. By the way, who allowed these people to schedule all the earnings on 1 week, the Federal Reserve event, and a jobs report? Whew, talk about drama. Shazam. Okay, so this is this coming week. I could buy shares, or I could buy calls. All of these on this side are calls. So if I go like this and I trade, I buy one call. So I'm basically spending $340 to be long 100 shares of Apple. I don't have to buy the shares. I'm just saying I want to lock my profit. So I spend $340. So if somebody does that, their hope is that when they report, the reaction is up. So if the reaction is up, the stock rallies. See, this is up, rallies. Then this $300 or $340 becomes $500, $600. Depends on how high they rally. Okay, this is the theory of it. So people do that. So they're begging for a rally after hours. And well, sometimes the rally comes and goes before the market opens, like this. It came and then it went. So I'm saying there's a way, even though the market was closed, it rallies. How do you book your profits? You cannot exercise on yourself after hours. So with the calls, it's pretty tricky. You have to make a call and whatever. So the easiest way to do it is to short the stock outright after hours. What? So that means that when you see the stock spike up like this one, you can't close your options because the options market's closed. What I would do is I would go out and sell short. So if I bought one call, I can short 100 shares. It sounds risky, but it's not. If I bought a call here and the price is here and I'm shorting here, I'm not adding risk. I'm saying I'm maxing my profits up here. So let's say the stock opens up here. So you're saying, Nick, you're short up here. Yes, but I'm long down here. So I still made money partial ways. And then I said, I'm not long anymore. So that means you lock your profits. You walk away from the profits with a big bang. Now, if you short it up here and then the next morning it opens lower and you closed your short here the next morning, you just made $250 $20 per share for 100 shares. That's a pile of money. And you still own your call. And look, your call came back to life. You understand? So let me review. I bought a call. The stock reported, and the company reported the stock spiked after hours. I jumped in, I shorted shares after hours, and then it fell apart and opened much lower the next day. I closed my short, those 100 shares. I cover my short. How? You buy shares. So you collected 100 shares times $254. Here, you pay 100 shares times $232. The difference is pocket change in your pocket. And you own the call, and now you're still profiting from the call that you bought. That's how you deal with that after hours. How do you sell the stock short? You open a position to sell short a stock after hours, and you don't own shares. You never short a stock after hours unless you own a call lower than where you're shorting them. Otherwise, you're just creating unlimited risk. I do not ever short stocks in this environment. So you saw what happened to GME, BBBY, blah, 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 blah. No. No shorting stocks after hours or during hours without having calls. Let me explain to you why. Simple. What is the first rule of taking risk? The first rule of taking risk is, for me, and should be for you, knowing what is the maximum consequence if you're wrong. In this case, how much can I lose? That is the number one rule. It is a let me rephrase it. If I showed you a gap between two things, like we're on top of a building and I show you a gap, and the gap is questionable. Maybe you can do it. You're fairly certain you can do it, but hey, stuff happens and maybe you miss it. So it's not a sure thing. And I say, would you jump this for $10 or $20 or $100 or $1,000? Your question should be, how deep is the hole between the two buildings? Because if it's deep enough to kill me, there's no amount of money I'm taking to jump that gap, because the maximum risk is death I'm not looking for financial death. So the first question is, how much are you risking? But when you short a stock outright and you don't own calls, you say, I'm shorting the stock. You're unlimited. Your risk is unlimited. Your risk profile is an infinity sign. Oh, I can cover it. No, you can't. Tell that to whoever was long short the GME. They didn't get blown up the account. They got liquidated. Hey, if you want to throw another survey in here, ask how many people. There you go. This was perfect. How many people have blown up an account before? It's not a laughing matter, but liquidation is different than blowing up. It means they sell everything you have in that account and they say you still owe us some more. Don't ever short a stock outright. Okay, so shorting a stock is the process of you selling shares that you don't own. So for example, if I go to Apple and I want to trade Apple, and if I say trade and I take this out and I say trade stock, I sell it. Now I'm shorting Apple. If I put this through, it won't let me sell 100 shares. Okay, so if I do this, let me see if it would let me. My buying power is down to 80,000. This is my practice account on E-Trade. Don't take E-Trades thinking it's great. It's not great. Yeah, I don't know why this cash buying power would still be 80,000. That should be definitely lower than this, because I'm basically shorting stock I don't own. But that's how I would short a company. So in case you don't know, how does shorting a stock work? Any stock. The idea is, if you don't know what shorting is, you're selling
Nick,
something.
Whenever you're ready, let me know. We already have the poll results here. I don't know if you want to take a guess what percentage of people have done it.
It will break my heart to hear more than 20%.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna release the results here. So over about 41%
Ouch.
of people in this session at one point have blown up one or more of their
Well,
accounts.
I appreciate your honesty, folks, and let's hope we can fix that. Okay. I have had a few people, 2 or 3 come to mind that have fessed up to blowing up their account one day, and they come in, I just blew up my account. And then they come back 2 or 3 days later. I restarted a small account. I figured out I was wrong. I'm rebuilding myself one bet at a time. And I've been getting contacts. In fact, a girl came to me Friday, and I'm not going to say her name. And she said, I rebuilt my account back to a level to where I'm now have some breathing room. Guess what I said as soon as she said that? Take a break. Just walk away. Take a break from trading. Go back to paper trading. You got back to where you fell apart from. Take a breather. You hit a good jag of luck and skills. Take a breather. Then come back after this week and see if you can continue. It is an excellent way of approaching this. You lost 200,000. I appreciate you saying it. If I tell you that this is definitely not even the 10th highest loss I've dealt with from people in the people that I come in contact that have come to me from other services. I had a person who's lost 700,000 trading the TQQQ or the SQ, one of them. I think it's the TQQQ. Which one is going now? TQQs. So another person is blown up 480,000 trying to deal with GME. Another person lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on BBBY. And they come to me and they all had one thing in common, is they all started trading through the pandemic. They all got great results into the pandemic and into 2021. And now they don't know how to deal with falling stocks. So I can help because I'm super conservative. Now, I don't know if you can see it. I have a black eye and I have a cut right here. I can feel it, but you can't see it. And I have a broken toe, 2 toes from yesterday. I fight for fun. I fight for a sport. When it comes to finances, I am a chicken. So I'm super conservative. So I'm always looking out for the potholes. And it's I think what keeps this service alive and healthy, like it's the healthiest Benzinga has. It's because it is my goal. If I could just stop the easy mistakes. Most of you do pick good stocks. Most of the mistakes happen, and I'm going to share happen from entering at the wrong time. I'm going to share the list. So this was the list for today. I'm going to see if any one of these will pop into my head. As do people now want to go. All right. BE. No. This one. Okay. So this one, it's been in the toilet and now it's up here and I'm getting requests to review it on Sundays. So I said, I hope you're requesting me reviewing the chart, asking permission to book profits. Because if you're coming to me now to see if this is a good entry point, you're using complete emotions because now you're feeling comfortable because it just rallied 50%. And this was a technical target of an ABC move, inverse head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, going into a prior fail. This is an emotional response to a rally. So this is not the right way to think about it. Whereas CF, I said it's shortable, and I said I would buy a put. I didn't buy it, but I should have. It was a wolf wave scan, and I said, I bet you can do this, this, and even that. And now nobody's coming to me to get long CF. So they should be. That's where you try along with a stop. So it's almost, let me explain how this works. I think I broke down the code on this one. Hold up. Listen to this. This has nothing to do with stocks. It goes back to the olden age where we were living out in the wild, humans. So if we were still out in the bush as animals, we are animals who chase because we don't have claws. We don't have jaws like the big fangs. We don't have weapons. So we have brains. And our brains tell us to, if you see a herd of people running in one direction, you run with them. They're either running from danger or running towards food. So instinctively, we want to run in that direction. Well, this is the exact opposite in the stock market. If they're all running from a place, you owe it to yourself to go back to that place and peek your head inside the room. Maybe somebody left a wallet. Maybe there's an opportunity that everybody's running from for the wrong reason. And I'll use a few examples in a little bit. Now, conversely, if they're all running towards something, so the herd is going one way, you've already missed it. Unless you're the leader of that herd and everybody's chasing you, you're going to be mediocre at best. So I'll give you an example. Palantir, a company I have longs in, so I'm disclosing. PLTR. It was falling based on false pretense because every time it fell big time, it's because somebody had issues with how much the CEO gets paid. Who cares? Or somebody has issues with how many government contracts it lost. Who cares? Okay, so this is a company that deals with the government and deals with the private sector. Okay, and the mix is changing. It's going from less government to more private sector. So if I was a store that sells apples and oranges, fruits, and I'm growing my sales tremendously over the years, which is what this one is doing, and my overall sales are growing, but I'm selling fewer apples, more oranges, but I'm selling more fruit. So who cares if I'm selling fewer apples and more oranges? So people are freaking out about the wrong things. That's one. With Bitcoin, same thing. If I have my own thesis, I disagree with the reason they're selling it. I got everybody along Beto at 11. Where's Beto now? Yeah. So Beto is another way to play crypto without risking your money in crypto-based companies. So I have my money crypto with crypto.com. So I'm killing it with trading crypto, but I don't know if I will have my money because my bank may be gone. Right. So there's the risk. The risk is where I put my money. So I'm touching base on a whole bunch of stuff, but it's all around the same thing. We all make the right decisions with picking which stocks. What we make wrong is either super bad timing because of bad luck, using emotions. So stop the emotions. I guarantee you next time this gets to here, I'm going to get calls from people, time to go long Palantir. No. Below $6 was the time to go long Palantir. That was a slam dunk. Yes, you could make money from here, but if I buy a stock going into a prior fail, I'm leaving myself open for disappointment. So there are ways to circumvent that. So SoFi, Palantir, Affirm, PayPal, Square, all those companies were falling. and out of control. And a lot of it was tied to Bitcoin. Palantir, not as much. But anyway. All right. So let's see. Scalping all day.
Yeah, so I think we were going over a lesson on buying and selling calls.
Okay. I forgot it. So anyway, let me see it. No, the lesson was how to lock profits in calls after hours. We did that. Somebody said a question. George, was it? Or whatever. I said, delay that question for a little bit. Hit it now. Beto, CF? No. What is shorting? Okay, shorting. How to short a stock? You sell. I just showed you physically. I showed you. I went in and I said, okay, if this is the stock and you want to trade it, I opened, okay, add stock and sell. If I don't own Apple and I hit send, I just shorted Apple, which means what happens? This transaction will go through. Somebody will sell me. Somebody will buy shares from me from Apple, and I don't own shares. Why is this legal? I have no idea. But that's not my story. It's like me borrowing your car. Hey, George, would you lend me your car? And I go and sell it. And then I keep the money. And then you say, where's my car? And so let me go buy it back. And I buy it back cheaper and I give it back to you. So I made money on the difference. That's what's happening here. Why is it legal? It shouldn't be legal. It's weird, but it is. So I can literally, if I send this order through, I'd be selling Apple shares that I don't own. So where's the risk? I have to return 100 shares. They don't care how much I pay for it. So if Apple drops to 120, I made $26 per share. And if Apple goes to 170, I lost $25 per share. So that's how you short a stock. I'm not giving you a lesson on how to short stock. It's insane. The concept is insane. Why? Because look, if I said look, max loss, infinite, as long as the stock is rallying, you're losing money. You say, oh, I'll put a stop loss. Did you know they're not guaranteed? Oh, it never happens. Okay, it never happens. Watch this. Check this out. Did you know what just happened this week? Did you know that the NYSE broke this week? Did you know that? You don't believe me? Watch this. Look at this. This day, that day, the market opened, and I'm looking at Palantir, and the quote for Palantir was something outrageous, and it was halted. Dozens of stock, dozens were halted. This was Visa. That was not earnings. Earnings was here. This is Visa, MasterCard. Look at this. If you had a stop loss here, you got blown out of your position here. So the stop loss works as such. You open an order, and it's a trigger order. Once the trigger order goes to live, it gets executed at the next available tick. Let's say you got sold out of your stock down here. You immediately lost $20 per share. It didn't work that way. That is bad. And in fact, somebody in a room had Baba longs, and he got blown out of his longs on that one erroneous tick because it sharply dropped. They took it out. See, they took it out. It sharply dropped. So he had to call his broker and say, what gives? This was a fake tick. I want my shares back. And he got his shares back. But he had to make a call, and he got him the next day. So he reversed his fake trigger. But it happens. So I'm not leaving anything to chance. Shorting a stock outright, the traditional way, is insanity. Super insane. All right. So I forgot to tell you. So we mentioned that I do this every Sunday, 1 hour and 45 minutes today. Webinar going through me doing your homework for you. I do the homework for you. You give me your tickers, not for me. And I do the homework. And then I provide you a list, clickable. Every one of these is clickable. And I give you my comments. This alone takes 4 hours to type this here. And it's available every Sunday. And then if you join the service, you will have a library of videos. What is a call? What is a put? What is a spread? What is a credit spread? And it's there for you. You also have my recourse as daily messages to a whole bunch of traders. Usually there are 300-400 people during the weekday. I don't know here. I can't see the top. It used to show me how many people are here. Like right now, I see 86 users, and it's a Sunday. And I post and we debate a whole bunch of things. Okay. And then here I have where I only can post. So if you only pop in once or twice a day, you don't lose my messages inside this mess of conversations. So you jump Nick's important messages. Also have an education section here. So you will have a research. You will have Nick's attention 24/7. You can have it 9 hours a day live like this without my pretty face. You'll have my voice. You will have my screens. I have more than one screen. And what happens during that time? We trade fast. How fast? As fast as you want. If you're a slowpoke, you can make money out of iron condors every day. You're not going to believe that Friday was so much fun. So we were rallying out of control. And up here, I said, well, the options are telling me that there should be a dip, but you have to be careful. These dips did not work out all week. And then I said, somebody said, where are we going to close? I said 405.8-ish. 0.6, 0.8, and we closed at 405.7 something. But we were up here when I said it because they said below 405. I was like, wow, anything close to 406 or lower, I would start saying that was perfect. And look at how we ended up closing. So I bought a put that I closed on a double, but it was an 8x had I held it, and other people held it. But I'm not upset that I closed the double. Who's going to be upset? So this iron condor worked. And I can explain iron condors in a second. So during the day, I like to trade these iron condors for me because I'm not that fast. And I also look out for opportunities from point A to point B. But here's the coolest part of all of this is that I have dozens of people that pop in and say what they're trading. So I have 2 or 3 people that trade super fast. I'm in here. I'm scaling out. I'm adding. I'm taking calls for next week and I'm buying puts short term to hedge my calls. And they put their entries. So you start seeing these people and you see that they post and they win. You start taking some of those trades if the speed suits you. So what does that mean? Not every trader can trade like everybody else. So I learned that I used to race cars, open wheel cars. And I was a hothead on the streets. And then when I got onto a racetrack under a sanctioned body, I thought I was going to crush it. So I'll get to that. So I hopped in this open wheel car for the first time and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to crush these people. They're going to drop their jaws. And we go on lap 1 and I'm getting lapped. So the leader has already caught me from behind and passed me. So that was a humbling lesson. And this is where the mistake came. And this is where it applies to trading. So the leader passed me and I tried to keep up with him and I crashed because I was driving his speed and I did not have the skills. So same in trading. So if I see somebody trading from point A to point B and I don't know that I can do the same, I shouldn't try. I should try with paper, fake money, until I can establish that. So then I will adjust until I get good enough to trade shorter terms. Like I bought a put here because I knew if it played out, it would play out a lot. And I knew I didn't need to pop in and out. I knew I can just jump in, let it play out for 15 minutes and see if I can get out. That was a speed speed of trading that suits my style. Some people don't like it. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. It's too much busy work. I can create better results from this stuff. Not as big, but better, more often. All right. So during the weekday, I'm available 9 hours to share, enter here, exit here, or answer any questions you want. We discussed more longer term trades on Friday than I remember in a long time. A bunch of people popped into the live room because they know of the resource, and then they end up discussing longer term setups. And I was more than glad because it slows everybody down, and we have a little lesson on what to do and what not to do. So I've had a couple of questions. What is an iron condor or whatever? So I did say, wait. I'm not pushing you off. I'm just trying to put it into the right frame. So let's talk about simpler concepts first, okay? All right. So I'm going to assume that there are people here that don't know what options are. So I'm going to start there. Investing 25 years to stock, that's fine, Justin. It doesn't give you the reason to just jump in without looking at a chart. If you're trading in this environment without looking at charts, you're making a massive mistake potentially. You're blind to the biggest contributor of price action. Can you tell me what the biggest contributor of price action is right now in the stock market? Let me save you the trouble. It's machines. Machines trading. You've heard the term algo this and algo that. Oh, it's algo. Of course it's algo. Everything is algo. You tell me when a human is jumping in and overriding the machine, and that's the thing to pay attention to, which happened the other day. So it's all algo. So the algos trade with nothing but charts. So the bulk of the action in the stock market is based on charts. And if you choose to ignore what drives the bulk of the action, you're on purpose going like this to the traffic and saying, I'm going to jump into the lane because I know in the long run it's going to take me to the right place. So I appreciate you wanting to invest for 25 years. First of all, I would suggest you shorten your time span a little bit. And I would highly suggest you don't trade not $1 without looking at a chart. Or if you don't know how to look at charts, come to me and say, I'm looking to invest in the stock for 10 years. What do you think I should do? You'll be surprised at my answer. You would be surprised. I'm super on board with that concept, but I have to make sure that you're doing it the right way.
When you have a moment, Nick, let me know because we do have some questions piling up about your room.
Go ahead. I'll take a breather. I'll take a drink of water while you explain it. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. And we did throw a poll there. What you guys think if the market will be open or lower on Monday, right? So the poll is out there. But again, thanks a lot for sending these questions. These are the questions for Nick's room, right? So does Nick Chahine go over student member trade ideas? Yes, that happens every day. He does it throughout the session. He's there the Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. So you can always catch him and ask him any question about education, all that sort of stuff. Good question there, Phil. Are the sessions on Sundays recorded? Yes, they're recorded and they are posted in the live room as well. So good question there. What is the chat room schedule? So the blue chat room is open 24/7. The live room where Nick is basically doing webinar style format with all the live members, that's from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m.-ish. Because it goes later sometimes Eastern, right? And then Sunday, you do have the session, which is from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern. So you're with Nick 6 days out of the week, right? That's basically the schedule. Does Nick trade during earnings, Fed events, special events? Yes. There is a lot of people actually that are in the live session whenever these events happen. So good question there. Let's see. Chat room notifications. Yes, the blue chat room has push notifications. So if you download the Benzinga app, you'll be able to get every post that Nick will put in the blue chat room. You will get it as an alert on your phone that's recent. And you can always have it open on your laptop, tablet. Let's see. Next question we have. How much capital is required to do the trades in the chat room? Nick, maybe you can do that. And I'll also throw in the poll there so that you can see there what the folks think there. For later on.
50, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I don't take along. So if you're coming into investing into a new style of investing, you should not use any money. So how much money do you need? You don't need any money. So come to me, I'll teach you how to trade, how to better trade however you need to trade, and I'll share with you what my style. My style requires very little money. The more money you have, the easier it is to make. But it suits smaller accounts just as well as bigger accounts. The only difference is they take different setups. So bigger setups, different setups. I'll give you an example. Those iron condors that we keep mentioning they expire every day on the SPX, for example. If I take one contract, I'm risking $400. That's it. Worst case scenario, market goes to zero or to a million, I'm losing $400 and have the opportunity to make 25% out of it. 20 to 25%. So a smaller account can do it. I don't recommend you have $1,000 and you risk 400 of it every day. But I do recommend that you not take big bites. And if you're new to it, zero. You shouldn't trade any money. Fake. Paper trade all day long. There are a lot of paper trades out there. And then you add one contract. You say, okay, now I'm ready to jump in with real money. I would start with one contract and see how you do for a while. Believe it or not, the more money you have at risk, the emotional part jumps in and starts messing with your decision-making process. I have people that crush it on paper. The minute they go to real money, they're like deers in the headlight. It's different. Like when you play poker online with fake money, you're all in all the time. So you make decisions that you wouldn't otherwise make. And then you put real money on the table and suddenly you're like, I fold. It's different. You learn self-defense techniques with a fake knife, and then you go see a real knife, and suddenly your adrenaline bogs down your body and you can't do anything you learned because it's a real knife. It's different. True
Right.
story.
And Michael, a few folks asking where to sign up for next room. It's all in the chat, folks. For
Okay,
everybody
so
on-
let me show. So wait, before you go, you mentioned this chat room. This is the only chat room. You can direct message me here anytime you want. But all the excitement, which is all extra, which is all the intraday options, trades, Iron Condor, or whatever, all of that stuff happens in the live room, which is where I spend my day. And let me show you a few clips of messages of late. This was the 27th. So this was Friday. I can't read. Jack. This was Jack. So he took a trade. First day in the room, Samira. First day in the room. It's been so helpful. Thank you. This is feedback from somebody's first day Friday. Samira, if you're here, kudos. Leave. We'll see you tomorrow. This is the 27th. I'm happy. I've been working hard to get, by my account. Oh, this is the one person I told you who got back to a certain level. And this is where I said, get out. This guy trades all the time and posts his trades all the time. This guy shares updates on money flow. So he's telling us what the options makers, not the options makers, the gods of Wall Street are doing for the price action. He updates us. Okay, now it's looking bullish. Like the machines, what are the machines doing? They're looking bullish. They're looking bearish. And this is gold information. I could do it, but at least I have somebody's opinion. That one less thing for me to do, and I'm totally reliant on him. Let me rephrase. I trust him, so to have my back. Okay, so this was, I was saying book, and somebody said booked. Thanks, Nick. So this is Jay, who was taking the trade, and I'm saying I would book it, and I would scream sometimes, and he actually book it. So, and this is 23rd. SPX, Iron Butterfly, 70-cent loss, credit put spread, cash 100% win. So this guy shared a win and a loss. Overall, he won. Okay. Momentum, I'm in a call vertical for Verizon. So he's sharing his trades. Give us a gap down. Let me see here. I think anything below. So you see how the conversation is? A bunch of people. So we're not trading alone. It's not just my skills. There are people in there that are way better traders than me. I'm pretty damn good at charts, excellent at reading options, super good now at organizing the efforts. Like when this guy says we're coming into VWAP, I will translate what that means to the rest of the room. And this is November 28th. So I went back in time. I closed mine. So see the discussion? David says, I closed mine at break even. Jim says, are you still holding your credit put spread? I closed mine. So Jim is telling me what, David is answering Jim as to what he did with it. David to me, yeah, thanks for the heads up. Okay, you saved a lot of bucks on closing it. So sometimes I see a trade that goes under fire and then comes back to even. I pound the table, get out. Boom. They get out and they think, all right, so this is a setup that played out. This is back to November 21st. So this is what happens in the live room. I don't want to read everything, but this is what happens. So this one is too big to fail. He's sharing what happened with his credit spread. So leaving half the money on the table. So this is, if you want to improve your skills, if you can leave money on the table and not cry about it and not depress yourself about it, you're matured as a trader. You've leveled up your game. I'll tell you why. Trading is very emotional. You're upset when you lose, I assume, and you're also upset when you win. When are you going to be happy? You will quit. You're not going to last. So Friday, I mentioned I took a put. I closed for a double, actually more than the double. I could have gone 8x versus the double. I was not upset. Okay. Because I know that it was a win. So it could have been a better win, but I know I'm going to be upset about a loss somewhere else. So let me leave that upsetness for that loss. And I'm just going to enjoy my Friday. And I did. So that's what I meant. It's the intangible. Trust me when I tell you the room is a lot of fun, extremely educational on all levels. Hey, Joseph, on all levels.
Yeah, so
So
Joseph says, I've been with Nick since last June. He's great reading charts and guiding the team. I mean, the community is great since
so,
this was launched.
there's somebody that belongs in the room if they're not in there already. MW. My challenge is that I win pennies, lose dollars. So that's the trick. You need to cut your losers quickly. And I had a person. I mentioned somebody who lost a lot of money on BBBY. They traded BBBY very well, and then the last time they traded it, they got caught long, rode it all the way down. So we discussed it, and guess what happened? They stopped themselves out when on the upside. So when they rallied, they got 35%. They booked a 35% profit, and they re-engaged the next time, but they didn't stop out on the way down. I said, okay, so you said you had a stop win on at 35%, and you had no stop loss. So he was willing to ride his risk all the way down, but he was quick to bail on his win. So I didn't understand that concept. So you're not alone is what I'm saying, MW. I think it was MW. You're not alone. Do you always cover your trades with an inverse ETF? I don't touch inverse ETFs. I don't know what that, the triple leverage ones, I never touch them. I don't think you should either. No, definitely not. And those tickers, you can jump in and out. Okay, so somebody says they want to do SQQQ. Tell me, how do you deal with this chart? What is this? That's the SQQQ. 500,000 all-time high, or 5 million. I can't read it. 500,000. Yeah, this is a chart that doesn't hold value. So if you want to trade shorting the Qs fast, I would suggest you buy three times as many Q puts. But if you do insist on trading this, trade the stock itself, not the options on it. And if you do the options, I would suggest single legs, not spreads. And I'm going to share with you an experience I had with the TQQQ. So the TQQQ supposed to rally 3 times faster than the QQQ. Okay, so I took a credit call spread or credit put spread. I can't remember. It was a credit spread. If you don't know what a credit spread, this is the mini lesson that's going to get us into me explaining the Iron Condor. So if you're interested in the Iron Condor, it looks like you guys were, listen to this part of the conversation because it'll open the door for me to explaining the Iron Condor. All right, so take a piece of paper if you want to. All right, so I'm going to go with credit put spread. To create a credit put spread, which is also called a bull put spread. It's a spread, so it's got 2 things in it. I sell something and I buy something. In this case, I sell a put and I buy a put, and I collect a credit. And I did one, this is a real life question, the scenario, that was $1 wide. Okay, so let's say I'm wrong and this happens, and that's my maximum loss, and the bell rang. The maximum I could lose was $1 minus 0.2, for example. So the maximum I can mathematically lose was 0.8. This is not exactly the numbers, but I'm using these fictitious numbers. So the maximum I could lose was $800. That's if it goes to zero, $800, not a penny more. Okay, and the trade was here, so the trade was winning, but this is so volatile that the quotes were bad. And I remember one day, this quote was 3.2, which is mathematically impossible. The maximum it could be is $1 because that was the width of it. You could not have it be valued more than it's possibly than $1. So the quote was 3.2. So now my broker, because the quote was 3.2, thinks that I need over $3,000 in margin to cover this worst case scenario because it thinks it can go to 3.2, but it can't. It can only go to 1. So if I had a smaller account, that wasn't an issue for me. But if I had a smaller account, then suddenly, let's say my account had $5,000 in it. Suddenly my account is locked up because $3,000 of it went to this fictitious loss that I don't have. And there's no way to fix it. The quote is the quote. That's why I don't do spreads. You can buy a call or a put to trade, and they're not for me. So I could find better ways of making money than to deal with this crap. Here's another crappy thing. And please don't explain it to me. I understand what the explanation is. I just don't understand the freaking concept. Okay, so check this out. This is the QQQ. This is the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ, the index. Okay, so this is the pandemic start. This is current QQQ. It fell to here, still way above the pandemic start. So there's this much room between the pandemic start. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so so this is the QQQ. The TQQQ tracks this. So the SPY tracks the SPX. If I pull up a chart of the SPY and the SPX, they'll go in tandem. They'll go to same relativity. You see, the entry of the pandemic, where it is now, there'll be this similar scenario. Okay, so this is the mothership for the TQQQ. I go to TQQQ. You see what just happened? Explain this. This is the pandemic. We're below the pandemic. So, there's time and there's theta and there's bleed. Bullshit. Whatever it is, I want none of it. If this actually tracked the QQQs, it will be at the same relationship to the pandemic. I can understand. I understand the difference. I can you can show me the math behind it, and I would get it. But it's bullcrap. If this was actually tracking the Qs and there's no extra BS Wall Street stuff in it, it would be the same relativity as the QQQ. That's why I don't touch it. Don't average down in it if you don't understand how to explain the discrepancy. Who's to say that this won't also? I mean, this is the all-time look at the TQQ. So, and this is the QQQ. Clearly, it's not the same. We're still flat to 2020. It's bizarre. So I stay away from them. There's no need. If you want to make 3 times as much money, just risk 3 times as much money, and you get straightforward results. It's not for me. So I would prefer to use the Qs than the TQs. Okay. All right. So iron condors. Are we ready? Okay. So let's see, where is it? This one. Cancel out of this one. I'm going to use Apple. Apple is a good enough explainer for the iron condor. Let me zoom in a little bit, make these a little bit bigger. All right. So zoom one out. This is an options chain in case you haven't seen one before. In this one, we chose Apple, and I randomly chose March contract. So this everything on this page is one contract with 47 days on the clock. So I'll start by saying that options are contracts. And so just like every contract, they have multiple terms and conditions. And let's go through the main ones that I think are important. One, time. The contract duration for this one is 47 days. So everything here deals with Apple and 47 days. So those are 2 terms. What are we buying and selling, and for how long is this contract between buyers and sellers? Everything here has a buyer and has a seller. So when you hear CNBC saying they are buying, blah, 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 no, that is incorrect. They are transacting. There's a buyer to every seller. And when they say they are buying, they are interpreting that the buyer knows something more than the seller, which is rarely the case. Almost always the seller is smarter than the buyer. Anyway, that's my interpretation. So 47 days. Now there's also price. How much are we dealing with? So that is the price of the stock. Okay. So if I pick this thing here, it's about this price. If I pick this thing here, it's about this price. So we have time, what are we selling, and what price it is. And then what are we buying? Puts or calls. Options come in 2 flavors, puts or calls. Everything on this side is calls. Everything on this side is puts. Puts are not bearish. Calls are not bullish. Both are both. They do, how you use them determine whether you're bullish or bearish. Let me explain. The easiest one to explain is puts. Who buys puts? Traditionally, by the way, I don't need to own shares to do any of this. I can buy and sell puts and calls without owning shares. So if I own shares and buy a put, I'm buying insurance. So if I own shares of Apple and I'm worried for the next 45 days, I can go out there and buy insurance from somebody. So I can say to myself, you know what? I bought Apple at 100. I love it up here. I want to keep it, but I wish I can just insure myself to not lose anything beyond 135. So I'll go out and pay $240 for an insurance policy that covered me for 47 days. This is no different than buying insurance on your car. Here, you buy a put. And when you buy the put, you're paying $240 and you're covering 100 shares of Apple. So who's selling you that put? Somebody who's equally as aggressively loving Apple, only slight less. So I love my shares. That's why I'm paying for insurance. The person selling me the insurance loves my shares so much that they said they would buy them from me if I dispose of them at 135. So we're both bullish. There's no bearish scenario here. It's just we're both worried about the next few days. So the person selling me the puts is bullish Apple because they're willing to buy it at 135. I'm bullish Apple because I'm willing to own it for now and spend money in order to keep owning it with some peace of mind. So there's no bullish scenario. So when is it a bullish scenario? When I buy a put, when I don't own shares. If I don't own shares, then the only way I can make money is if I buy this and the stock drops. And if that happens, that $240 turns into $1,000 if it does it fast, and depends on how much it falls. So that's the quick explanation of what a put is. And what about a call? What is a call?
Hey, Nick, really quick, before we do get into the call, just want to give a shout out here to Jay, our most recent family member that joined the Inner Circle here in the film.
Okay, so somebody's getting crushed. Let me address that right away. I appreciate that statement. Somebody's willing to say, I'm losing money. Kudos to you. Let's address it. You're getting crushed on my swing puts. Okay. So let me ask you this. So I get that question all the time. Nick, I have a position and it's losing. I have calls, I have puts and it's losing. What do I do? So the answer lies within you. And it's usually a logical scenario that happens in a sequence. The first things first. Why? Why did you take the trade? Why do I ask that? Because you need to ask yourself if you need to stay in the trade. Is that reason still there? If that reason is not there, you need to be out, period. Let's say the reason is there. Then you go to question number 2. Have you hit your pain tolerance? Okay. How much money have you lost? Is that the maximum you set yourself to lose? If you didn't have a maximum set, don't ever take another trade without putting that. So when you take a trade, immediately set an exit plan. If I make this much, I'm out. If I lose this much, I'm out. So if let's assume 1 and 2 have not hit, then you go to the 3, which is how likely am I still to win? What is the odds of success? And luckily with options, that odds of success is not arbitrary. It's actually a number you can read off the page, and I can show you in a little bit. So to help you, you need to ask yourself those 3 things. All right, so back to, we explained puts, and calls are basically, instead of buying $150 price, so if I wanted to buy Apple on Friday, I could have paid $150, $146 times 100. That's a lot of money. Or I could have said, here's $700 and lock me in for $145. What does that mean? For the next 47 days, if I paid $700, I'm locked in at buying 100 shares of Apple at $145. So this way I am long Apple, if I want to, with only $700 out of pocket. The downside is that I could lose that because it has a time frame on it. So this is puts and calls in big picture. All right. So if I don't own shares and I buy a call, I'm locking myself in on that price. So what is an iron condor? So using puts, you can create income by selling a put spread, selling a put and buying a put below it. So I collect the $100, I give back 60 cents. I'm rounding for ease. So the difference would be how much money I can make. How can I win with this? If price doesn't fall below 125, I win. So that's a bull put spread, credit put spread. I sell a 125 put, I buy 120 below it. By the way, this is not a recommendation for you to go do it. In fact, it's definitely not, because Apple is going into earnings. I don't do this into earnings. 125 and 120. So the amount of money I collect from doing this spread, and it is a credit, it goes into my account. And the only way I would lose is if Apple falls below 125 and through 120. That's maximum loss if I don't do anything. Meanwhile, I can change my mind at any point in time and reverse the process and win. Okay, so that's one way I can generate credits, income, from the price action. As long as we don't do this, I made money. Okay, I can do the opposite up here. I can sell this call at 165 and buy a call above it. Now, this is called a bear call spread. Yes, say yes. You heard I can fight, right? So, okay, so this would be a bear call spread. And this is a bearish position that does not need a drop to win. All you need is price not to do this in the next 45 days. So what does that mean if I take both? I can take both trades. So why would I do that? It's because I know that there's no huge drop. I know that it shouldn't rally big. So I'm just ranging the trade. And I would collect profits from both ends. And I can only lose on one end. So by collecting credits from both ends, I'm lowering the amount of money I could lose. Let me show you exactly how this works. Okay, I'm going to use this here example. This is not a trade alert. If you take this trade on Monday, you're putting yourself in danger. This is not a proper way to trade into earnings. Okay, all right. So this is a credit put spread. I sell a put, I buy a put. I collect a credit. See that? Credit. So this is called a bull put spread. This wins if price doesn't fall below here. Pays about 9% yield or so. Not a huge pile of money, but hey, it's if I do 10, it's $400. I'm risking 4,600, but that's 9 to 10%. So if you buy a stock for $4,600 or calls for $4,600, you would need a 10% rally in 47 days in order to make this kind of money. And if you don't get a rally, you don't make money. When you buy calls or you buy shares, the only way you can make money, there's only one scenario that makes you money. This, only one scenario loses you money. That's it. The complete collapse and me not doing anything about it. Okay, so this here is a credit put spread. And this here is the opposite of a credit put spread, which is a credit call spread. So if I do this and that, now suddenly I have a opportunity to make $1 in credit. And I can still only lose in one side or the other. So the bad scenario, whether it goes to 0 or goes to 1 million, still can only lose me 5. And now I'm collecting 1. So now my yield is 25% if I'm winning. How do I win? If price stays in between these two, I win. So that's why you see how this is not equidistant. It doesn't look it that way, but it is because price is right here right now. So this is an iron condor. This is a visual of an iron condor. The analysis on this one, it pays 26%, 25% rounding. Why? Because I'm collecting money here. I'm collecting money here. I can only lose on one side or the other. I can't lose on both sides. So if I'm wrong here completely and I don't do anything, I lose money up here, but I collected both. If I'm long, if they fall well below 120, I lose on this side, but I collected both. So that's why it increases the ways I can lose up or down, right, but it reduces the amount of money I could lose. So this here is visually an iron condor. I do these every day on the SPX. The SPX, which is the index for the S&P, and there's no assignment on the SPX. That's why I like it. So you can't be assigned as, like, if it goes into money and the bell rings and you forget to close, you're not going to be assigned shares. There's no shares. You cannot go out and buy the SPX. So they will do math and just adjust. It's called cash settled. That's what it means. With the SPY, you can be assigned shares. If you buy a put and it goes into money and the bell rings, you're going to be assigned a position with the put being short the SPY. Conversely, if you buy a call and it goes into money and you let it expire into money, you're going to wake up owning 100 shares of the SPY and you might have a margin call. With the SPX, there isn't. It's cash settled. They don't settle with stock. If you buy or sell a put or a call in Apple and it closes in the money on expiration day, you're going to be assigned something. With the SPX,
Right.
no.
Right. So yeah, Paul, that's for your question of how to trade the Iron Condors intraday. That's something that Nick does. For all the 75 people here that would like to trade with Nick, just know the link is there in the chat. But Nick, it's important to clarify that you're able to provide different types of trades, not just Iron Condors, but calls, puts for people that trade fast, trade slower, full-time jobs.
Somebody, a girl, I forgot her name, early last week or late the week before that, she came in and said, I think I'm going to cancel. I'm not hearing, I only trade calls and puts on this or that. And I was like, well, then you're not listening right. And it's let me try to highlight those entries and exits. So it's a matter of you telling me what you trade so I can show you how we can help you. Then yes, absolutely. The trades intraday are for you. So let me see if I can find an example. I don't remember an example from Friday on the SPY. Okay, I do. Like late in the day, we, believe it or not, we track 15-second charts. Why would I want to do that? Because I have 4 times the information of my competitor. So up here, I kept pounding the table. In fact, I was so alarming that Jay in the room jumped in, took offense to, he literally asked me, why am I so bearish? And I kind of like, it frazzled me a little bit. So I explained, so I wrote it up. I wrote it up in plain, simple English. I put it in writing so I don't say anything I regretted. And I reminded them that I'm the bullish guy who told them to stay long the market when everybody was changing diapers, scared. And now that everybody feels bullish, I get freaking nervous. And I was saying I'm bearish today because everybody is looking to buy calls for Monday. And they may make money. And I was trying to convey that you're taking undue risk buying this late in the process. And then I said, I literally see downside pressure from the options towards 405.8. And look what happened. So I said, I'm buying the put, and I noted the put, and I said it was 20 cents, and it went to $1.46 or $1.50. So if somebody spent 20 cents, $200, they ended up with thousands of dollars at the end. So that's the one where I closed halfway, less than halfway, but I had a win on my hand. So I do provide entries and exits, and other people do too. I won't tell you buy this particular call all the time, although this time I did mention a particular call. I usually say there's an opportunity. Like if I saw a harmonic show up here and I would draw, I can't actually draw on my screen by hand. I would say there's an opportunity to do this. So I would enter a call. Which call? These are my exact words. Something that expires fast, like today, if we were early in the day, where just above current price. So those pieces of information should be enough for somebody that has done a couple of trades to know, okay, he's saying SPY calls for today just above current price. Should be easy. You go, you buy those. And I say, I'm not that fast, but it's available to go from here to here. And I say, please make sure to make a stop. So you say to yourself, if I risk $500, I'm willing to lose $50 or $100 out of it and stop out. Or if I lose this support, then this arrow is in danger and it's more likely to go into here. So I would stop out, whichever comes first. So these comments are there all day, every day, not just from me, from a mess of other people. And they're good traders. They're phenomenal traders. One of them even shares a notepad of things to do as a trader. Like here are my list of rules. Amazing. So the room, it's hard to describe. The camaraderie is amazing. Everybody's looking out for everybody. And there's healthy competition in there. And we have a couple of perma bears, and we have a couple of who I stopped on Friday. I said, to be honest, folks, I'm hearing a lot of hooting and hollering. I said, I need you to all tone it down. They said, well, we know what we're doing. I said, yes, you do. But somebody else pops in and sees all that excitement. They're going to get whipped into a frenzy. They're going to buy calls. and you're long from lower, and they're going to join in here, and then they're going to be smacked. So I was like fighting the tide because of the human element, the human emotion. So you have to remember, I speak to hundreds of people a day, literally 350 of them live, and I have hundreds in the chat room that I interact with. So I get this market sentiment better than CNBC because I'm literally talking to you every day. So when everybody's excited, I feel it. I don't need market structure edge to tell me what sentiment is. I know what it is because I'm dealing with you, and you're 350 people. So I can feel it from the words and the comments I'm getting. And for one guy to come out and tell me, why are you so bearish, is telling. So I'm not angry at him. I'm just telling you.
Right.
And speaking of which, if you want another lesson, we can have a technical lesson. Go ahead. You say what you want to say.
Yeah, just, it's important to note that, even if you're advanced or new, you'll be able to help them, right? There's people from pretty much all different levels, people that know how to trade calls or don't.
So
right?
somebody jumps in and said, I just joined your program. I don't know much about options. What do I do? Guess what I would do? I would immediately drop a link for them to go and look at the getting started video. I would literally say this, watch them in a row. Start with the, what are options? What are put options? What are call options? What is a spread? And that's 30 minutes of education. And you're going to have a million questions from those 30 minutes. Write down every word that doesn't make sense. Come back to me and we'll start there. And I said, credit spreads video will get you started as to what I like to do. And then I would say, you know what? I'm Lebanese, so Arabic goes from right to left. So I'm like, my mind is programmed to look the book backwards. So I often like to look at the ending. So I said, if you want, here, and I share an Iron Condor video, look at this, watch this Iron Condor video, and you're going to be dumbfounded. Like, oh my God, this is so above my head. I said, do it before you watch the basic videos, and then go watch the basic videos. And then you'll start to hear some words that make sense. And then that's what I would do. And yes, I would help them find their stride inside my room. So for example, the lessons continue. I'll say, if we lose this, we can come down to here. And I can explain why. I see a neckline of a head and shoulders. The downside scenario is that much. I'm eyeballing. And I would say, this is the official target. And I would say, I would rather see them lose this than this to be the trigger, even though this is officially the trigger here, because I'm a level guy, not a trend guy. So when I see them lose this, then there's no fake out. Indeed, look how much they fought inside this clump from this and that and this. So this is the head and shoulders. That would be the lesson there. So now on Monday, if we pop into here and somebody's saying, Nick, can I buy a call? And like, no, why not? You remember Friday, that's where we fell apart from. So this is going to be, prior support. Now is going to be forward resistance. So why is that important? If we pop on Monday to 407 and we fail and we go below this, we're going to 404. Because this is a bigger shoulder to something else on the left side that I can't see right now. So it's important to keep track of all the lines. And I keep copious notes when it comes to lines, to the point where like you're sick and tired of my lines. I have a lot of lines. Okay. I fight. What do I fight? I do Muay Thai. I used to do Jiu-Jitsu, but my knee pops out, so I can't close my guard. So I do stand up.
Right. So to recap here, Nick, everything we've done technical analysis. We've talked about the markets, the Fed, setups, iron condors, credit put spreads, calls, puts, buying and selling them. I mean, a lot more, quite honestly, a lot more things here. So let's kind of get a feel here, Nick, maybe where the folks would want to go from here. I know that, well, all the people that join the chat room, of course, they're going to be with you tomorrow live, but in the time that we have here, right? What do you think we can go ahead and do in the meantime for the folks?
For you mean generally the stock market?
Yeah, I mean, should we do stock
Okay. So be realistic. Somebody's asking me Tesla. So how about we talk about that? Because it's representative of what not to do. How about I tell you what not to do? Okay, so this is Tesla. Back here in October, when Tesla lost the 205 level, give or take a few bucks, I issued a warning and I put an arrow down to Tesla to below 100. I said Tesla could be 140 in a blink and can even be 2 digits. People lost their minds. And it came, sorry about the noise. My son bought a new toy. It's an off-road truck and he's trying to start it. It's pretty loud. So he's so be open to other people's suggestions on a stock. Don't immediately discount it. It hasn't started yet because you don't agree with it. So whether you hate it or not doesn't matter. So be open to it. And I'm the guy that says never short Tesla. And I said it could go to 2 digits. It came within $2 of 2 digits. And now everybody loves it, that it's gone back to where it came from. And now I can tell you that I think it should come back to 145, so buy the dip, don't chase it. Why? It's going back into a problem area. So now everybody's happy to go long Tesla. Down when it was 102, it was poop. And let me tell you how it happened in the live room. Okay, this is another lesson. But first, to tease you as to how well we read the options, look at this. These are my comments from me. Actually, let me leave it there. Go in here and go to 5 minutes and zoom out like this. Hopefully I'll get it in perfect. Okay. So let me see. When did they report? Okay, right there. Now let me move this over here and zoom in 1 minute. I'm going to try to show you, tease you why you should listen to be in the room, because we know what we're doing. So here we go. This was the earnings report reaction. Before they reported, I said it could, some downside pressure to 139, 141. I believe it went to 138.5 or whatever on the flash low. And then I said resistance scattered at 146 and 50. And that is 50 plus up here. So they did support and resistance. And then I said my interpretation of the data and trading ticks tell me that after the morning, it's the Wild West. I literally said it is the Wild West. So the idea that people are surprised that it rallied, we were kind of ready. I didn't know it was up or down, but I knew it was going to be crazy. And look at how crazy it was, right? So that's one point. You shouldn't be chasing wild goose without educated guesses, and we had it. So if I were to be honest about it, I wouldn't go long Tesla here at the risk of missing out on some upside, because from a technical perspective, this was an area that it needed to hold 200 to 220. So it's going to struggle. Hopefully it holds a nice trend, come back, pop up a little bit, have patience, have it do this inside of an ascending channel to deal with this monster level that it lost right here. Okay, when it clears this, you're in the clear. This descending channel may be done. Okay, and Tesla's fundamentals, believe it or not, are insane. They're good. And if here's what happened, it fell on headlines that it was cutting prices. I said, you guys are looking at it the wrong way. Tesla's gross margin are heads and shoulders above all of its competition, GM and Ford and all of those. I said, if Tesla is cutting its prices, that's going to cripple its competition, because it is still super profitable. So it taking less profit to cripple its rising competition who already loses money on their electric vehicles, yikes. Yeah, yikes. So I don't know what GM and Ford have planned. They must know something we don't. There must be a conspiracy somewhere that we don't know about. Because if batteries is it, Tesla is the stock, because GM and Ford lose money on their batteries, battery company, battery cars. and they tell us they're going to have no fossil fuel cars in the next 10 years, where are you going to make your money? Because you lose money on the stuff you want to sell in the future. How are you going to make that transition? It's bizarre. I am missing a piece of the puzzle. They must know something that we don't. Either they have new battery technology or hybrid technology, or there's a loophole in their commitment. Like, I think their wording was, we will have no fossil fuel vehicles within the next 10 years. So maybe they're going to be like Toyota. Maybe Toyota has the answer, something like hybrid, but not electric. I don't think we can be an electric car world. We don't have enough batteries. We produce 120 million cars or vehicles a year. Only maybe 5% of them are actual EVs right now. And we're having a hard time finding batteries. How is that going to work in the long term? It's pretty bizarre. Anyway.
Yeah, there was a news about a Tesla that just caught fire in the middle of the highway.
But
today.
that's because so that brings into conversation the stock QS, QuantumScape, which I don't think you should be long. So I'm an electrical engineer, so I know a little bit about batteries, but I don't know all about batteries. So the batteries right now, you have an anode and a cathode. You have two terminals, right? The plus and the minus. And right now you have water, or not water, liquids separating them. So enough junk builds up on one of the sides, like stalactites, those things that dangle. And it goes and goes, and it pierces and it touches the other one. Poof, you got a flambe Tesla. So the solid state batteries don't have liquid. They have solid matter. So they can be thinner, lighter, and that thing won't happen. But it's not applicable. They can't make it work on a full-size car. Inside of a lab, it works, but there's temperature, there's load. So if you put a EV load on it, so it doesn't work. I'm just not a fan of the concept that EVs are going to replace the electric combustion engine, the internal combustion engine. I don't think it's going to work. They're going to need something else. I'm a fan of hybrids. I had a hybrid. I got rid of it because it's starting acting weird and the battery's starting to give me weird. I was like, okay, let's get rid of it. So I got rid of it. So Tesla is a stock that you need to trade with your own brains, not with what Wall Street tells you, because they don't know what the hell they're saying, or they do know and they're telling you the wrong story. All right. So what else? Ford has a great lineup of going LFP on batteries. What is LFP? I don't know what LFP is. Ford stock is not a buy here. Okay, so I'm going to tell you one thing. All right, so I live in Southern California, the land of the electric vehicles, the land of electric. This is where Tesla started, basically, as far as how many cars it has. If I come up to an intersection right now, half the cars are Teslas. I'm just telling you where I live. I've seen, yesterday I went out for a short a short drive to the gym. On the way back, I saw two Rivians and one F-150 Lightning. I see Rivians every day. This is my second F-150 Lightning I've ever seen. Okay. And it looked the size of a Ranger, Ford Ranger. So what is Ford doing? The truck is hideous. It's not out in sales. I don't know how many they sold. I live in an area where they would buy EVs, especially cream puff trucks like that one. And I don't see any of them around me. That is not right. So something's amiss. I see more. What is that weird EV out there? The Volvo one. I can't remember the name. The Volvo has an investment in an EV company. I see more of those than the F-150 Lightnings. So I've seen more smart car EVs than F-150. Polestar, yes, thank you. Yeah. So, and I've never seen a Lucid. Lucid, whatever. I said go long the stock about a month ago or 2 months ago because of something that showed up on a wolf wave. So if somebody bought stock, maybe they made money, hopefully. But so Lucid, first of all, when I saw comments on the company when it first came out, it was labeled the Tesla killer. I said it's not even in the same league as NIO. for it to be a Tesla killer. First of all, it is nothing killer. It's a supercar that competes with Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Bugattis, because the cheapest model is as expensive as the highest entry model for Tesla. The only affordable electrical vehicle we have right now is a Model Y and a Model 3 after the price cut. I can't even buy a Chevy Bolt for the price of a Model Y. Why would I want a Bolt that's the size of a shoebox? And I'm a Chevy guy versus a Tesla. It's crazy. People's belief out there are crazy. How many cars did Lucid sell after the batch of 400 that they delivered at $500,000? Anybody know? I'm asking legitimately. How many cars did the company say they're going to produce? Because that's really how they make money. If you can't produce the beautiful car you have, you can't make money as a P&L. So show me the P&L. I believe this is the 420 moment of Tesla right here. Let's see if somebody bought it here, they might be stuck here for a while. Technically, this stock needs to break out of here to get to here. Fundamentally, it makes no sense for somebody that bought it here. Somebody that bought it here was not in my room. That's for sure. In fact, we discussed it in my room Friday. When this happened, I saw it, first of all, and I said, what's going on with Lucid? And then I said, I would be a seller. I don't care what you have on mine. I said, if you want to own it for a long time, get rid of it and buy it again lower. And within minutes, you had lost $5 per share. $5 per share. My God. Like if somebody didn't sell it here, they have FOMO, major FOMO. Look, you can't even see where it happened before. Yeah. What's going on Wall Street right now is mind-numbing. I cannot believe the things I see and hear. I mean, the coverage from these so-called experts, the memes, the headline writers, by God, they get dumber by the minute. So somebody has a solution for batteries and we don't know about it. Either that or this hogwash opportunity for the EV vehicle is very small and big in absolute numbers, because we're still at a big discrepancy, but it's very small. Okay, we've talked enough about it. Palantir was big investor in Faraday. I don't know. What is Faraday? Other than, what is Faraday? It's a unit in physics, but what is it? There's a company called Faraday. It's an EV. Never heard of it. Okay, that shows you. What? Okay, so why should you join my room? You get this all day. I don't got to say anything else. And you get my cowbell. What is that? When I drop a cuss word, I hit us with a cowbell. And you have the opportunity to learn all day. I kid you not, the learning process for me and you is all day. I'm learning things from you. I've had 2 or 3 new members that have different ways of looking at things. They bring charts, they bring methods of trading, analyzing price action that I don't agree with, but I learn it in order to start talking with it. Like somebody came in that said they want to trade something called Monte Carlo, which it turned out to be a random number generator based on set of numbers from before. Sounded like gambling to me, but I'm willing to entertain it. So I will leave it open. If you think you can convince me that trading moon cycles will make me more realistic, I'm on board. So anyway, and why should you join the room? Because I do know what I'm saying. And just like I got people out of Bitcoin at 60,000 something and saying it's going to 20, I got into Bitcoin at the bottom. Not in a perfect way, but at least I knew it was coming down from 60 to 20. And I know the ladder on the way up, which levels will matter. So my worst entry in BITO, Bitcoin, was in 1156 or something. And now what is it, 14 maybe? It's probably moving right now. The funnest trades I've ever had were in Bitcoin, in crypto. So I can tell you this, if BITO goes above 1550, it has no, I mean, it can burst, open air. Do I offer support and resistance line on the chart? All day long. I am all about support and resistance on the chart. I do nothing. You know what's my #1 tool on the charts? No, it's a good one, but it's not it. Tool. I can tell you, never look at Zim again. RSI, nope. Fibonacci, nope. Horizontal line, yes, you're on the right track. But tool, how do I find my eyeballs? Just look left. Yes, look left. Justin, just look left. If you're looking to buy the stock here, look left and see what happened the last time somebody bought it here. That's all you got to do. So thank you for your education on Monte Carlo.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just, a sneak peek really into what you do the entire day with the folks in the chat room.
It's an entire discussion on fast trades, longer trades, education pieces, discussions of tools, algo flow. What does it really mean? I bring pictures of algo flow, open interest, volume. How do I play the two? What is the maximum pain theory? Is it good? Is it not good? Is trade takes algo flow? Is whatever options, blah, blah, blah. We discuss everything. If you want to level up your game in trading and investing, charts, options, regular stocks, currencies, cryptos, the discussion is open all day, every day. It's literally pennies. If you count it, that school is open all day. So you get me 9 hours a day. I dare you to go find me another service that has the principal guy in there sharing their screen 9 hours a day. I dare you. There's none. I can guarantee you there's none. And if it is, it's definitely more than what you're going to pay here. That's for starters. You get me doing your homework for you on Sunday with a free 2-hour webinar. You get me doing a free video on Sunday night that lays out the whole week. What do I expect for the week and how I will trade it? You get me sending a note before the market action of the market opens with all the lines for the day, with charts, all the levels for the day per ETF on all the major indices and ETFs. You get me saying how I'm going to trade the day. And then you get me sending a note in the middle of the day and saying what's going on, and here's the trades I'm setting up. Rinse and repeat. Iron Condors all day for fast traders. In and out trades all day for fast traders. Swing trade opportunities for slower traders. This guy. And things that you don't need to be in the live room. The live room is bonus. What you get is trade setups and methods with total market coverage that anyone can do with a job. So if you're an engineer, if you're a teacher, if you're a homemaker and you're busy all day, you can't deal with this. You just have time to read one note. You go in, you read one note and you say, okay, Nick is going long this because of that. Let me see if I can do it. And let me see if I can agree. Let me see if it fits my portfolio. If it is, you take the trade. You come back to me at any point in time. Hey, Nick, I took your trade a couple of days ago. It's under fire. What should I do? I'll tell you what I did with mine. That's it. So that is the easiest way. So you have all the support you need: live support, chat support, direct message support, email support from Benzinga, however you set up your account. What else do you need? If you want your idea, how about this? How about you look at it like, okay, now you have a recourse. Before you make your next trade, you go and you say, Nick, I'm looking to do this. What do you think? What do you guys think? You'll have 350 opinions. You think you're going to make another mistake if 300 people are looking into your trade and saying, yeah, I bless it. Some of them is going, look at that. That's the wrong way of what is my win-loss ratio? What does it matter? What is mine? I'm on the record. All my trades are out there. They're posted. What can you do with my setups? What can you do with your own setups knowing the stuff we know? It's not about my record, folks. This is not a trade alert service. You missed the whole conversation. It is not a trade alert service. I share my trades. But if you're looking for trade setups, this is not a trade alert service. You will get my setups, but you're missing out on the hugest benefit of it, which is you leveling up your game to the point where you can have your own service if you want to. I want you to know what works best and how can you use it. So not teaching you how to fish, finding you a fishing pole that suits your style and schedule, and then how to use it. And stay because I want your opinions, because it makes the group better. The group is super strong. We all together beat Wall Street,
Right.
guaranteed.
And Robin has a good question there. So Robin, if y'all go to the checkout, yes, there's an annual, and then there's also a lifetime as well. So you have both of those options. The one-on-one mentorship, Justin, so you can private message Nick in a private conversation where you can discuss your trading habits, your schedule, your goals, really, because some people might want to come in and make $100 a day or 200 or 300. Then you have to be realistic with your account and the strategies that you have to make. So that's really where the coaching starts and begins, having that private communication channel with Nick.
How do you sign up? I'm pretty sure there's a link here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll put the link again for you there in the chat. One moment. But yeah, it's
so listen, I'm not a good sales rep at all. I don't pussyfoot around things. I say it like it is. I'm somewhat blunt, and I'm pretty good at organizing the conversation inside of the room. I'm confident of my skills. I love teaching. So I wake up every morning at the crack of dawn here, before dawn, actually, because I live in California, and I can't wait to get into the room. And we do good work. I lay it out. I use all the tools available. I use the people in the room to help me do it fine, even better. And I'm open to feedback. So anytime I see a skill I'm lacking in, I need to level my game up. I have no issues. I'll learn it, and I'll jump on board. So if you want, how about I do this? I am very confident that you will get more than what you expect as far as value. I had one guy pop in and say, I didn't see you post one entry and exit. I couldn't possibly think how they figured that one out. But then when I said, okay, how about let me know next time you're in the room, and I will point out those entries and exits. And I didn't hear back from him. And I know he's still in the room. He just doesn't post anymore, telling me this anymore. And then, somebody will come in. Sometimes somebody perceives something. So what I'm saying is I'm open to the feedback in order to make the offering better. We're not perfect. Nobody is. We're always improving. That's why we've done so well. We've been in business for over a decade. Benzinga and I don't work for Benzinga. I choose to work with Benzinga. I can do this on my own or go partner up with somebody else. These guys know what they're doing. They're well-intentioned. So that's all you can hope for. So do I get a refund? Do a weekend blow to the... I don't do face slapping. I saw this and was like, boy, that looks more painful to the hand than the face. I wouldn't want to be slapping somebody that hard. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty hilarious. No, I am a little wobbly though today and yesterday. I'm a little out of it because I got hit in the head. So yeah, no refunds, but I will be here. That's
right,
funny.
Abranto, where is the link to sign up for? Okay, folks. So for everybody that is looking for this link, we've been posting it in the Zoom chat. So make sure that you're looking at the Zoom chat or the YouTube chat. That is the link with the annual and the lifetime, while we still have open enrollment for Nick Shahine's live room, where you can get coaching, mentoring the entire day, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Every other place out there charges you like literally $2,000 for 5 days, and that's it. Goodbye. This is the entire year. But on top of that, you get trades, you get education on demand, right? At any point, you could pop in the chat room and ask Nick about his trades, your trades, a strategy that you're trying to work on. I know several people that are working on different models, trading models, and they have that private channel with Nick.
Oh, yeah. So here's the funnest part of the day. So if you know anything about options, if you can pinpoint the close of the day, you can make a lot of money in iron condors. So we do iron condors, and I've trained about 6 people to guess the closing value for the SPX and the SPY. That for an iron condor seller is gold. Okay. So I missed it by a couple of pennies on Friday, which means I nailed it. So we do some fun stuff like iron butterflies, which don't risk a lot of money. They're low odds positions, but they pay so much. So you can literally risk $45 or $50 or $35 to make $450 if you know the close. And the way to do it is to scalp it all the way into the close. Longer story, but I'll explain it if you're in the room. So we approach it from all different ways. I've even done a lesson about 3 weeks ago on how to use, 2 weeks ago, how to use regular butterflies, but modified to the degree where I make them pretty wide and it's easy to book profits. So when the SBX was struggling, I said, I know there should be a burst. I just don't know when or to what degree. So the way to do it is to approach it with a shotgun approach. And I said, this is a butterfly, which what usually people like because it's cheap and it pays 10x. I was like, I think it's smarter is to make it look like this. And I offered my version and I said, I enter and all I want is a burst. And my goal is not to get $4,500 out of 700, which was the actual metric of that one, 650, and 4,800 was the maximum profit per one contract. I said, the goal is to double my money, not get to 4,800. So if somebody did that, they more than did that within like a day and a half.
Right. And a big shout out here to Michael, the newest member here at the Options Inner Circle chat room.
Hey, Michael, I think you'll like it. So jump in, say hi, join tomorrow morning, say hi, and don't be shy about it. There's nothing but good people in there.
Yeah, there's a ton of great folks that help.
The camaraderie is insane. Men and women of all ages, some pro traders, some have jobs. I have a couple of drivers who say they're professional drivers, so they have it in the ear. They can't trade. They stop the trade. That's hilarious. And I've actually met one of them, two of them in person. So pretty fun. Pretty fun.
There's people from all over the world. Look, we got PDX and we also have Richard Judge on the YouTube chat. But I can tell you, like a lot of the people that have signed up here through these sessions, there was one gentleman, he works for the Department of Defense. There's a UPS driver. There's people from all walks of life, and everybody pitches in because everybody has a unique insight into what they're particularly doing for those with full-time jobs, right, Nick?
So Andrew asked something that I just answered ahead of time. Maybe you missed it. This service was made for you, Andrew. Everything else I'm mentioning here live is extra. And that extra can work for you. How? Let's say you take one of those trades you don't have time to manage, right? And monitor. But let's say you have a quick question. You jump into the live room. I'm there. I answer your question. You leave. The setups are written once a day. You don't need to be in the room. You go to the chat room or your messages, the emails, or whatever, you get the communication from Benzinga. You get it. This service was built for you. Everything else I laid on top, including the regular chat room and this live trading room, is extra that you can use if you don't want. If you don't want to, you don't need it.
Right.
That's what I just said. What about overnight? I don't understand. What about what overnight? Me being available live overnight? Are you serious?
Yeah, we're talking like pennies on the dollar for basically being with.
No, what? I don't understand. Can you rephrase? What about overnight? What about what overnight? Overnight trading. You can trade overnight. I don't trade overnight. I need a break. I trade crypto at any point in time. I'm on my phone.
Right. The other thing, Nick, is that we don't really talk about it a lot, but you do cover technical analysis in a very deep format, right? You even talk about
all day, lessons all day. Like somebody says, does Nick teach? All day. Sorry. All day.
Yeah, you can't really trade options if you cannot read a chart. That's probably
you shouldn't. You could actually listen. There's a debate. Some people that are famous on TV now, they're saying they don't need charts to trade options. I agree, but it makes it an easier trade. You can trade options if you know how to read options tables and you don't need a chart. I can set up 3 or 4 iron condors a day without a chart because it's all based on the data and the options table. But it's highly ill-advised for somebody that doesn't know how to do that. And not a lot of people can read an options table.
Right. Well, I mean, that's really kind of why you being there live, explaining everything there. Now, besides the technicals, explaining all these different types of trades, coaching, mentoring, everything there that you do for the traders, right? Yeah. You also get 20 email trade alerts a month separate from the chat room just for.
Listen, I am so comfortable with the value that we have to offer that I'm willing to sell, sound like a salesman all day. I would be shocked, just flabbergasted, shocked if somebody jumps in and say, "What? Where's the value in this?" It sounds like a lot of money if it's a payment upfront, but if you think about it, it is it's a whole freaking year. So I don't know what you expect. I have signed up to a competition of mine for 175, 180, 190, $250 a month, and there's no live person there. They hold my hand all day. So just to see what they have to offer. And this is clear conscience. I'm clear conscience about it. If you're serious about leveling up your trading game, investment process, chart knowledge, options knowledge, this is a best blend that I've seen out there. I wish there was something like this for me when I was starting up. When I was starting up, there was nothing. There was nothing like this. Okay, I don't have time to look over charts. I've done a whole bunch. If you join me, snow was covered, I believe, today. Was covered last week as well. I need to get out of here because I'm dying. I need some food, and I have an appointment in a little bit. Running out of energy.
Before anything there, Nick, so basically, what would you say, these, some tips you could leave some of the folks here before I go into the live Q&A, and also show them your live room where they can find, I'll show them some videos as well that you've posted, some tips for traders, closing remarks, and why they should join the chat room today.
So the best reason to join, really, because you did a survey on 3 things. Never trade alone. Sounds like everybody trades alone. Don't blow up another account. Sounds like a whole bunch of people blew up their account. That opportunity will shrink if you have other people helping you not to do that. What was the first one? I forgot. Anyway, so the idea is to become a better trader.
Cash flow.
Yeah. Creating income from the lazy way. It's a good way to infuse credits without having to chase every price. So instead of saying, okay, Apple's going to go from here to here, let me make money out of it. Let's look at all the places Apple's not going to go, and let's make money off of that, the easy way. So those 3 things should be reason enough. I'm not going to be able to convince everybody, but I've convinced enough people. Folks, we have 340 to 350 people a day spending all day in there, coming back day after day. If it was crap, you think they'd be there? You think those 350 people are idiots? They're not. They see value, they took the leap, and they don't regret it. I mean, I can have a testimonial list. It would be like 2 hours to read through it. But you're just going to have to jump in and see it. It's I wish I had it when I was growing up.
Right. Well, Nick Chahine, it's definitely been great here. I appreciate your time. I know you're
welcome.
always tight with that and helping all the members. It's a great commitment.
I love it. I love it. And thank you for all the good, kind words in here. I can't type to you here for some reason. I can no longer type to the people, but I can see your comments and I can just wave.
All right, Nick Chahine.
All right, I'm out of here. I gotta get some food and walk the dog and all that stuff. Later.
All right, Nick Chahine, folks, there you go. The real man himself. This is just really kind of a sneak peek for you guys. But Venice, thank you, Nicholas Chahine, peerless teacher, leader of the for the almost 14 grand positive in my account last week. Well, Venice, that's really great to hear. I'm really glad you're able to ride well with Nick there. He's a great trader. He's a great mentor, educator, instructor. Anything that you need him to do for you to help you as far as trading, he is that guy for you. So congratulations really on those results. And, it goes to show really anybody can come here and do it. Doesn't matter if you were one of the people that have blown up their accounts, or, if you're starting out, it does not matter really where you are. It's really where you're going with trading, right? So I just wanted to show you really quick the dashboard where you can find a lot of the information from the email trade alerts. You also have scanners built in that we are giving you. Why is it moving? This is filtered by individual people that we have in a certain department. So you have these scanners as well, gainers and losers. So everything that you'll see, the trades, call spreads, debit call spreads, right? Updates on trades. You'll have this information here, but focus on the left side where you'll see the chat. So once you click there, it's going to take you to this page. And as no, that Nasal. Yeah, we'll see you soon here once you join. No worries. Okay, all right. So back here really quick to the chat room, folks. Let me just focus on this really quick because this is where you're going to get the trades from Nick Chahine, right? You have the inner circle chat where everybody's posting, including Nick Chahine. You can have a conversation there with him throughout the day. This is where you actually upload some of the tickers for the strategy session on Sundays. So from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., he's going to review all these tickers that you guys in the chat room include in this particular form. And you can join live on the session there as well. So that's Sundays, right? He's posting that in both chat rooms. But you can see that everybody there is posting and having a conversation. You can private message Nick Chahine individually. You can private message other members as well. So if there's a particular member that you know from the chat room, we got a couple Roberts here. So you can pretty much find members there that you know. You can also search tickers as well. If somebody, tickers or things like that on the search. So you have that capability there inside the search to trade. And then this chat room, Nick's important messages, that is where Nick is posting everything pretty much, and you will get push notifications on your phone. So if you download the Benzinga app, right? If you haven't downloaded the app, make sure you download it. But if you have the subscriptions and you have the app, you will automatically, you log in with your credentials that you have here, and you will have those push notifications. So this post, you would have gotten notified for the Sunday session. This Sunday video would also have given you the notification. These are mobile alerts on your phone, right? We're talking trade setups as well. Iron Condors. You're getting these notifications as well. Market updates, market decisions, right? What's happening with the Fed meetings, CPI numbers, reports that come out, all that sort of stuff. But this post is the most important one in the day. If you have the time to be there live, so you get the notification on your phone, or if you have it open like I do, and then you click on the live session here. So once you click there, you'll download the free conference call. You put in that password, it changes per week. Make sure to read the full paragraph. All this information is really important, right? He will give you a charted out chart here of SPY. This is SPY, Qs, IWM. So all the indexes are going to be charted out for you here. And this is in the morning. We're talking 8:30 a.m., right? That way you know the levels, right? What does this say? Old dark pool, 5 billion resistance. So we are able to capture dark pool levels in the chat room, okay? We do have these technical levels as well that are, laid out by Nick Chahine on the upside and the downside as well. So you can see this information, how he will post it, right? This is SPY, but with the Qs, same thing. You always have that information, what levels to work out of, right? The Iron Condor is released like around maybe 10:30 a.m. around that time. Also the futures for the people that do sell futures. And then you do have this for the earnings that are coming out. Let me show you this here really quick. So these are the earnings that he's looking at. Of course, he highlighted Microsoft and Tesla. These are some really important earnings that we will see this week. And a lot of people will be trading around them, right? So let me close this stuff out. All right, so that's posted every day, right? Let's see what else we can find here on the back. A lot of questions about ENPH. Here are my thoughts. So, right, yeah, that's from that's not the one from today. That's Justin. So you can see the date. So all these things have a date on the right side. This is from last Thursday. Yeah, so they all have dates here. I was just zooming in to show you, but everything has a timestamp and a date. And there's a video here that I wanted to show you guys. I scrolled up a bit. Oh, before anything, yeah, there is a sound notification. Yes, good question. If you do have this post, this window open, you just click on these bells here. So if you see them yellow, it means you will get a pop sound whenever somebody's posting there. If it gets like too much with the overall big conversation where everybody is, which, you know, could happen. There's a lot of people. Right now, there's 76 people online in this chat. Probably just looking at research and information, but you can basically right here have only Nick's important messages giving you the sound pops. In case you have this open at work on your laptop or anything like that, you'll just get the important things from Nick. All right, so let's see where we can find this video. One moment.
For this FXI type of a thing, kind of. So I don't know what's inside of this one, so be careful. Let's treat it as a stock. It's this candle matters. I think going into 54 is not an obvious entry. Buying the dips into 50 would make more sense to me. I don't know much about what's in it, so you should look into it. Brazil, not Brazil. Make sure to know what's in it. Like I know that EEM is all about China. I don't know what that one was. EWX. Okay, so what? Yeah, go all in. Fit 45%. So buy the dip is right. If somebody, whoever asked for this, I forgot who it was. If you're asking permission to get into the stock right here, don't ever send me a request like that, because the answer is automatically no, no way, absolutely not. Buying dips makes sense. If you're asking permission to book profits, you always have my permission to book profits after a 45% rally. If this gets you back even with the stock, I would exit so fast that it's not even funny from a trading perspective. This is definitely, I can say it with extreme confidence, even if I miss out on more upside, definitely not an obvious entry point.
All right, really quick here, folks, before we do get a little bit more into the session, this is a 30-minute video. So I just want to recap a few questions from the chat so that we can carry on here with the session. Miss Lucia from YouTube is asking, what time do you open your room? The blue chat room is open 24/7. We have people from all around the globe, so it's always open. The live session where Nick is sharing his screen, pretty much webinar style the entire day, that's 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. And then Sundays, you have him from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern. So you have him 6 days out of the 7 days of the week. So besides the trade alerts you get in the chat room, it's going to be, you know, anywhere from 3 or 5 trade alerts in the chat room itself. You will have 20 email trade alerts per month. It's about 4 or 5 per week. You can also get text alerts for the email trade alerts, right? And then the Sunday stock analysis is also included. So you will get pretty much everything that we've been going over here. How long is this session? This session in the video is like 30 minutes, but it's only one of the videos because he posted 3 videos. So this is video 1 that we're showing you. Then you have video 2, then you have video 3. Tickers are in alphabetical order. These are the tickers that you would have submitted in this form right here as a chat member. So as a chat member, you put in your tickers here. Nick does the review live, and you can join live, right, with him on Sundays. So you'll be with him Sundays to Fridays, basically, right? You only have Saturday off. Obviously, if you want to be there certain days of the week, that's up to you. But as far as Nick being available, he's there the entire day, 6 days. I'm not sure, Ian's. We're doing a couple things here with Nick's video, so we could watch it here for a little bit. But yeah, basically, folks, I'm putting the link in the chat. We're gonna watch this video here for a couple of minutes. You would have to get the chat room, Ninja. And if you have questions,
Right, so
put them in the chat room. Put them in the chat in the meantime while we watch a little bit of this video. That way you get a sense of what Nick actually does in the room.
this is video 2 of 2, and we're powering through with emerging markets. Is this FXI type of a thing? Kind of. So I don't know what's inside of this one, so be careful. Let's treat it as a stock. It's this candle matters. I think going into 54 is not an obvious entry. Buying the dips into 50 would make more sense to me. I don't know much about what's in it, so you should look into it. Brazil, not Brazil. Make sure to know what's in it. Like I know that EEM is all about China. I don't know what that one was. EWX. Okay, so what? Yeah, go all in, all in, all in. Fit 45%. So buy the dip is right. If somebody, whoever asked for this, I forgot who it was. If you're asking permission to get into the stock right here, don't ever send me a request like that, because the answer is automatically no, no way, absolutely not. Buying dips makes sense. If you're asking permission to book profits, you always have my permission to book profits after a 45% rally. If this gets you back even with the stock, I would exit so fast it's not even funny from a trading perspective. This is definitely, I can say it with extreme confidence, even if I miss out on more upside, definitely not an obvious entry point. That's as nicely as I can put it. So how do I trade this? Let them dip, buy the dip somewhere, and then let them break out. Then you can get to 140. But to chase it into these prior fails, even if it goes another 5 to 10%, you could make money, but it's not the right thing to do. Ford, same concept. I would not get long Ford here, most definitely. And it's going into earnings, right? So here's my problem with Ford. Every, quote, bad headline for Tesla about cutting prices is a knife in Ford and GM's and Toyota and Audi and BMW and Mercedes back. Tesla makes a crap ton of money from selling electric vehicles. All those other guys lose money on every electric vehicle they sell. When Tesla drops prices, the risk is on its competition, not it. Its gross margin is heads and shoulders above Ford. What does that mean? That's the cost, that's the net after just selling the car. Okay, like here's the car, how much it makes the cost to make the car. Here's my gross margin. Their gross margin in hard dollars is bigger than the hard dollars margin of Ford and GM in totality, and it makes half as much sales. So GM makes 150 billion, Tesla makes 50. I'm rounding, it's somewhere around there. And the gross profit from 50 billion is bigger than the gross profit from GM's at 150. So what? They can afford to lose it. It's like Apple dropping prices to crush Samsung. And Samsung is not cheap, the phones. The perception is that they're cheap. They're not. So this is bad news for Ford. I would not be long Ford into this. I would buy dips and see if they can take this out to technically go to here. I remember saying these comments when Ford was at 26, and it was not well received. I said I would be a buyer under 12, and it went well under 12. Fundamentally, I'm not bearish Ford, the company. I want a good old American company to succeed, but I saw another lightning yesterday, so that's 2 lightnings I've ever seen. I see a Tesla on every corner. I see more Rivians than I see Ford Lightnings. Yes, that is a fact. Yesterday I saw 3 Rivians and I saw 1 F-150 Lightning, and it looked like a Ford Ranger. That's how small that thing is. It was weird. And that I hadn't seen a Lightning in months. So I don't know what the hell's going on with the big 3. They are going to have to change the tune, that they're going non-fossil in a few years. How is that possible? I just don't see that path. Okay, so it's bizarre. So I'm not risking money on Ford. But dips into 10, yes, I'll risk some. But up here, no. Foot Locker, I wouldn't touch it. Up here, I don't know what that's all about. The sales were good, okay. That's probably a Nike story. Anyway, it's going into a prior fail. It's not for me. But it is coming out of a descending channel, like AMD. Remember, falling for such a long time, establishing a base, coming out of the base. So buying dips into 37 would be the way to do it. Fubo, I used this as an example this morning. If this rally gets me right, I'm out. Why is it doing this? Why is the software doing this now? Okay, you saw the spike I was trying to show you. Yeah, these spikes, no, they're death. So maybe this is the bottom, okay? Maybe this was the bottom, maybe this was the bottom, maybe this was the bottom. Not for me. Have they grown in sales? No, they spend too much money. And let me see something here. This is the biggest problem. Oof. Okay, so I'm going to issue a warning right here. All right. So this company bleeds in cash from operations, and I mean bleeds. So 150 million negative in cash from operations, 200 million negative in cash from operations. If I go to the quarterly to see recent, 76 last quarter, quarter before that 90. So that 200 is going to double next time they publish 2022 numbers, because I'm looking at 2022. Here's a quarter with 100. 27, 90, and 70. So that's 290 with 1 quarter to go. Unless the next quarter is big positive number on cash from operations. Why is that important? So whatever the P&L says, net income, whatever this is, it's nothing. They're bleeding 200, maybe 340 in cash just to get those numbers. So that was the sign to tell me to get out of Carvana. This is not a pretty picture. I would not invest, double down or anything. I would be looking for exits, not entries. So Fiverr, and I say that on Fubo with, hey, it could go to 1 million and I did the right thing and I wouldn't look twice back on it. Okay, so over delivered on the target. Vulnerable, it dipped a little bit and then they took out. Up here, they're closing gaps. They're going into prior fails. Up above here, I would chase it higher, but I think up here, it is not an obvious entry point, and it's a good, decent exit point. GE, shortable, even into earnings, or did they report already? They reported. Too high for me. I don't think they said that great of a message, and this is shortable. So I would confidently sell a credit call spread and stop out if I'm wrong, or buy some puts and stop out if I'm wrong. I would definitely not chase it. Chase it. So gold, you saw my note to get long gold weeks ago, and I said it's a trade on a weekly basis that has a long way to go, and I mean long. I said 180 and or so, and it did both targets, right? So a couple weeks ago, a person in the room said, a friend said, gold above 1900 will go to 3000. As soon as I said, I read that note, I immediately went out and sold the credit call spread. And in the live room, I mentioned it. That was too much exuberance. And I just sold the credit call spread based on the exuberance, knowing the chart inside and out. This was not an easy entry point. I made a quick buck on it. It was just I didn't send it out as a trade alert. I'm just expressing the amount of exuberance after a big rally that we, quote, feel rather than think. There is no way this is an entry point for gold. I don't care where it's going. All right, buying the dips and maybe a giant dip at that. The first dip will bounce. I bet you it will fail below here and it will dip again. And I will get into gold somewhere around 168 maybe. I'll put an alert. Not for me. I wouldn't short it, but I wouldn't get long it either. Okay, so if they take this out, they may get to here and repeat the same comments up here. But if they drop significantly and come back and take this out, okay, then we're talking 190, 194. But to buy into this with the exuberance and saying it's going to 300, 3,000, nothing in between, whoa, that's too much love. And he represented what the street was thinking, and I bet against it. It was not rocket science. Google, love the company. Look at the chart. I have the arrow. I had the arrows, and I did go long via credit put spread. I noted it in several places, maybe not everywhere, but up here, not for me. Going into earnings, not for me. The company is gold. I will buy dips. Hopefully, I will be afforded a dip to buy this week. Earnings are coming this week. I think all of them report on Thursday, which is pretty insanity because Wednesday we have the Fed, Friday we have more jobs. My God, who made the schedule? The best we can hope for is like a 2% dip this week or 3%. It would be great. And then just buy a dip, and then all these risks are off the table. Then you can rally back and come back and take this out and get out from this descending channel that we're stuck in, kind of like AMD. Now, having said that, if Google takes, say, 102 out, I think they have the opportunity to take 105 out. If they take 105 out, they can get back to, I don't know, 15, 20 up here. So being long is not bad. If I'm trying to time it better, I would take at least, at most, half position before the earnings. For crying out loud, it just rallied, what is that, 17% in just a few days. Okay, good recovery on GRWG. I would be excited if they can take this out. Then they get to hear. I am not playing in that whole segment. I don't believe in pot stocks anymore. Goldman Sachs, Iron Condor would be the best. About this size, I have not priced one, I don't think. Yep, I did. So I don't know when I did this, but there it is. This was the Iron Condor, and it's probably still in the middle. Oh, wait. Did I do it? I shared it somewhere. Anyway, this
Hey,
is...
folks, really quick here. So we're 10 minutes into the session. This is, again, only one of the 3 videos that are posted every Sunday covering 150 to 200 stocks from Nick Chahine. And this is basically part of you taking trading seriously, like a career, not like some sort of gambling thing that you're doing out there. Instead of following the crowd, you can actually trade with an instructor, right? Not just following what you hear on Wall Street Bets or Reddit or any of these places, right? Instead of trading emotionally, which happens to a lot of traders, you can trade with a plan, right? With a strategy, especially with somebody like Nick, since it's not just about trading, it's about learning, right? And the learning part, that's a lifelong process, right? So you do that with Nick, you work with him, at least for the year, you'll be way better out without him for sure. But keep in mind, this is for retail traders, right? So if you're out there, you're new or you're intermediate advanced and you've been trading options, there's always a way to improve your strategy. There's always a way to find a community that works for you, right? That works together with you. And you could trade as a team, right? Everybody working together. That's how it is in the Inner Circle chat room. Everybody's basically collaborating, helping each other out. Even the new members, right? The people that are new that start in the chat room, we have tons of people there like Doc and other people that are great members that actually help with the onboarding process there. So in my opinion, I'll tell you, I think we do have the best options trading community out there in the planet. I'm very positive about that. Nick Chahine does a great job. He has a huge commitment to helping every single member, not just get started on education, but also improve their own trading strategies, or maybe pick up a new strategy that maybe should have been the right one for you. Sometimes it could mean doing different types of trades, either condors or spreads or butterflies, but that's really why people get into options, for the cash flow, and also because they can make money 7-8 different ways instead of just buying and holding, which has not been working clearly for the past year or so. So yeah, that's really why you guys should really take a bigger interest in options. And I just want to confirm everybody that we have in the live room is a real person. It's a real human being. There are no bot accounts, no fake accounts like all these other public chat rooms. Everybody there is a verified real member. I probably know a lot of them. I've met several of them in person. And I know the commitment that all these members bring into the live room, which is technically a workplace where people come in, they work 9 to 5 or some hours throughout the day, and then they carry on with whatever they plan to do, right? But the chat room itself, it's open to you Monday to Friday, right? So before market open and after market close. If anybody does have questions, I know you guys are using the Q&A. Make sure to put the questions in the chat for all the people on Zoom. Options Ninja, we would have the annual one. That would be the shortest term. And yes, any account size here, some of the trades, the Iron Condors, you can make them with $400. So we're not talking huge trades that you have to be doing in the chat room. And of course, if you're scalping options, day trading the options, you're day trading the short-term options which don't have a lot of premium, and they're really cheap calls and puts really that you can buy that expire the same day or the same week. So none of these trades involve some huge account size that you need, right? Great for people that, doctors, lawyers, realtors, doesn't matter if you have a full-time job, part-time job, or a full-time trader. Basically, as long as you're there in the chat room, I'm positive you're going to benefit from this. It's like a full year trading course, if you will, where you learn technicals, you learn fundamentals. As you see, Nick was going over the P&L and the balance sheet of a company in this session on Monday, right? But you're also learning the options trades that you need to make, how to make them, how to set a stop loss, how to book profits, risk management, which is something that a lot of people don't talk about. So you do get pretty much all of that, include everything that you can imagine of, right? The tools, the education, and sometimes we need help, right? When we did the poll, we saw that a lot of people had unfortunately blown up their account one or more times. And I've been talking to probably like 10,000 traders at this point since I've been here. And I can tell you it's a common thing. And I've been telling this to y'all before. It's a common thing, but nobody, it's not very easy to admit it. I've blown up my account twice. I've told y'all that before. And sometimes it just comes down to putting your ego aside and realizing that, you need help, right? It's normal, right? It's totally normal. All these professional players in the NBA or soccer everywhere, they all have this one coach, this one mentor that they've been looking up to and working with. So everybody, all the best people have coaches, right? I don't know one good professional without a coach or a mentor, but just like anything else, right? You tennis, whatever sport, you get somebody to help you, right? So that's always going to be there, the coaching, the mentoring that you have with Nick. So if you're new, this is mostly going to benefit you because it's really when you start that you want to get these good habits in place. You don't want to start with bad habits, blowing up accounts, and then realizing that you need help, right? With the trading. It's more important to start with the right way. Start with an instructor, a great community that can help you throughout the whole process. Everything from opening your account, from setting up your first options trade, all the way to basically having a trading schedule, creating a trading model that works for you, and finessing that strategy through the private message feature that you have in the chat room with Nick. So for those that do join on the year, you keep the discount next year when you renew. That's going to stay the same. But yes, everything you'll get it here. The technical analysis, fundamental analysis, sector analysis, daily stock analysis, trading feedback, coaching, mentoring, 20 email trade alerts a month, 3 to 5 trade alerts a day in the chat room, and Sundays as well, and Mondays to Friday. So I doubt you'll find something else like that out there. But again, this is really something meant to help retail traders. So if you find yourself, wanting to improve your P&L, wanting to improve your trading, or joining a community that's going to benefit you, right? Not a community that tells you to go all in on AMC calls, right? Where you have real traders, people with real income that are trying to not just learn, but make money in these markets. This is the place for you. So if there's no more questions here about the chat room or about the session, we can go ahead and watch a little bit more of this video. Let me know in the Zoom chat. Do you guys want to finish this video here from Nick Chahine so that we can, it looks like we went all the way to the minute 10th. So there's a few more minutes left. There's about 20 more minutes left on the video. Let me know if you guys want to see that, finish, the entire video. And that way we can carry on here because I think we've covered the majority of the live room. And the live room basically has all the things that we went over, the push notifications that go to your phone for the 20 email trade alerts, all that sort of stuff. Okay. All right. Let's finish watching this video then. All right.
Is the trade I would do. I don't know if it's going to rally. I don't know if it's going to fall. I know it has support. I know it has resistance. And I know it can get to 305. By dropping, bouncing, failing not to take this out, losing this, it will come down to here. So hopefully that happens before this expires. The Home Depot. If people are not spending money, this is where they cut first. I am not doing my lawn if I'm struggling to pay my rent. Simply stated. So the battle is take the resistance out now before you lose this. If you lose this buy the opportunity, you will get to here quickly, and that's where I will buy it, somewhere inside this zone. So this is a buy the dip opportunity, but I should do it this way. Buy the dip with a stop out. So if it doesn't work, exit. It worked once. They need to take this out. And eventually this. I do like the company. Just don't know why it would go to the moon. Maybe an Iron Condor would work. If there's no earnings, there might be earnings. They're earnings, so I wouldn't do it. These are the companies that could pre-announce. February 21st. Okay, so it's not coming too soon, but look in Lowe's. Make sure Lowe's isn't reporting soon either. But if they're not reporting, I would try to do an Iron Condor between these values. Remind me on Monday if somebody's interested. eBayM. If you've known me for a long time, I can't stand this company. The most overrated, underachieving mega cap company board of director, CEO of all time. I have never seen more mediocrity than this company. They've been talking about artificial intelligence since I was a teenager. I remember being in Lebanon in I don't know what grade, hearing about this big blue, whatever robot playing chess against Karpov or whatever his name was back then. What? And they're not dominating the AI segment. And now guess who's dominating the AI segment? Drop a name. Guess who's dominating the AI segment? I believe they just took the lead. Microsoft. They invested in that GBT chat. Boom. Microsoft. What? Yes. Imagine charging you monthly fee to use the GBT chat, which is freaking amazing. I needed code. I needed VB script to put into an Excel file to send an email out of an Excel list. 30 seconds, I had the whole file with notes. How to use it. I just said it exactly like that. Give me VB script for an Excel file to send out emails out of a list. 30 seconds. Copy, code, paste it, done. You need to tweak a couple of things, but it's done. Okay, so Microsoft invested in it. I see no reason why it can't fall to 124. I see no reason to break out of this range. So Iron Condor would probably be the best way to handle this. I think they just reported, so that weird thing is gone. There are sellers here. If you take this out, you have a shot at this. If you take this, you go to here. But you know what's mind-boggling? That with all the struggles that the market had, and with all the quality of the companies like Amazon being at levels from the pandemic, this moron stock is at an all-time high. What? That was mind-boggling last week. It was an epiphany. It's like, how is that possible? So don't argue with logic, with stupid, as they say. They will beat you with experience. This is a seller zone. I think this is a buyer zone. So pops will be sold. Pops will be sold. That's my, we'll see. Intel. So I'm a fan of Intel because nobody likes it. But the message from the CEO, this was the worst forecast in history of the company, according to one headline. So at least one of the worst forecasts in history. So I pay attention. So here's the story. If I'm long, I don't add. If I'm looking to get long, I will nibble and forget about it. It's an investment in stock and I forget about it. Or I would sell puts to get into that investment in stocks and forget about it. If I get a sign, fine. If not, I'm making money. If I'm stuck long, I don't add. I just have to listen and hope that this was the worst forecast. Now the expectations are as low as possible. So the next message, even if it's just bad, not super bad, then it should pop like Netflix. They had the worst forecast like 3 or 4 quarters ago and the stock fell 60%. But that was the washout moment. There were no longs left that don't believe in the company, which means they are strong hands. So anybody stuck in Intel is a strong hand after this washout moment, hopefully. Lose this, you go to 22. Johnson & Johnson falling into support. I believe on the dip from earnings, I sent out a credit put spread alert and it paid quickly, and now it's at maximum gains or close to it. I will close it. That's it. I'm not interested in the stock. So it could rally, but it's not for me. It's too many headlines in that segment. So Lam Research, good company. Maybe it dips, and if it does, maybe they take this out. This is too easy of a breakout for me not to respect it. It's also too easy to expect it's going to be easy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, really? It's like somebody dangling a piece of cheese in front of a mouse. The mouse is looking around. It's like, no, that's too easy. So you do have buyers on a buy the dip moment. It's been going on for weeks. So eventually this should happen. From what level? I don't know. Did they report? They did. So that urgency is gone. That's good. LSI, going into a prior fail. Not for me. I forgot what these guys do. Like simulation, modeling, self-storage. Boy, was I way off. LSI Logic is the other one. Okay, never mind. So, jeez. Okay, so this is not an obvious entry point. Those are huge fails. It's strong momentum. I would not short it. I would book profits. Macy's. I would be buying dips. I wouldn't be chasing it up here. However, if you take out last week's high, you could get to 25.50. So the management is questionable at best. I say that having some knowledge on the inside. See that zone right there? This is totally correct still. That all these fails. It's not good to get long these fails. All right. Mag Silver Corporation. Don't know what that is. When they lost this, they had this as a target. So it's headed towards a target. It has support into 1250, but I really don't know what it is. And the support could extend wide. I know there's a wall above it at 16. I would not get long into 16. I would wait until they take out 17 or buy the dip in order to try along and stop out. So somebody asked for mana. So when you ask for a ticker that is crypto, give me the whole ticker. So you didn't even say mana, you said Matic. And if I didn't catch it, I copy paste and run it. And if it doesn't come up, it'll error out and I won't see the ticker. So if you want me to cover it, tell me it's mana USD. That's Matic. So, right? So it's definitely not a starting point. But like crypto, I wouldn't start longs here, but you could make a ton of money. I wouldn't get out of my positions. They have momentum. Apparently, according to statistics, crypto trades in cycles, and this is a big cycle up. So how far it goes, I don't know. I can tell you that MAG. No, that's not Matic. Okay, I can tell you that I'm not closing my longs in crypto yet. MAS, tight range, trigger out, support. So buying dips works, staying long works. It's so close to breakout. Just make sure if it's a trading opportunity to have stops. I think it has support into 48 and actually 49.5. So good position to be in. MongoDB. Going into resistance. That was a gap it would fill here. It could go higher. It might have been a breakout from here. But starting longs here, if you do, make sure you have stop outs. And buy the dips are better. Buying dips better. Looks like this is a long-term. Okay, so this looks like a wall they're trying to break out of, and they failed since March of last year. Be careful. Eventually, they will break out of it. But so buy dips. If you didn't buy it at 59, why are you buying it at 63? But eventually, it needs to break out of there. MPW at 14. Breaking out of 14 will get you 16 or 17. Buying dips into 12, 11, 12, 11 and a half would be ideal. Now, if you do get to 11 and a half, then you risk not being able to break out. So make sure if you fade here and you pop, you make progress better than here. Otherwise, you're bleeding lower to 10 and a half. So buying dips, just make sure to pick the right dip to buy. So this will be it. I need to put that on there, MPW. Let's go update the list. Sometimes I do the list. It's a lot of work. This takes like 3 or 4 hours to do the list. Just imagine typing it. Moderna, I don't know much about it. It's in the middle of the range. I don't know why I would buy it now or own it or anything. The vaccine story is done. What's their next home run? So do your homework on the company and see if you want to invest in the company. This is a pivotal zone for a long time. It could be the base to get to 235, but I don't know why you couldn't be at 160 in 2 months. I have no idea. So those are headline stocks. They do this kind of stuff out of nowhere. Look, there was no earnings here. Don't know what that was all about. Or this. So be careful. You need to do homework on those stocks. Charts are not everything. Microsoft, they reported. I think an iron condor would work best. If you want real good clues, you just look at that insane reaction last week on its earnings. And I don't see it here. I think it's that purple box. So this is the spike from earnings, and this is the low, I think, or right after, or something like that. So this is an important box. So, oh, I know why I can't see it. This spike should be a wall. This drop should be support. That's why you're inside this box. Iron Condor would work. MSTR, you're trading Bitcoin. I would use Bitcoin to trade Bitcoin. I wouldn't use MSTR. Don't short it, but it is going into a prior fail. Now, if they take out 295 convincingly, they can get to 340, 360. And if they take out that, they can get to 500. It's better to buy dips, but I don't know anything about it. Its P&L is crappy because you can't tell what the hell they do. So if you're long Bitcoin, get long Bitcoin. It's cheaper. Shares, if this is up here, Beto is up here. I guarantee it. So if this is up here, that's because Beto is up there. It's so much cheaper to play Beto than this one in absolute dollars. I don't know why you would risk your money on a company. Micron, at a prior fail, definitely not a starting point. Moreover, it's at a target that we had drawn for it. So definitely not a start of longs, an exit of longs if that, and buy the dip mode. So this one is still here, buy the dip. ServiceNow, this reaction, did they report? I think they reported, right? So do we have any clues? Did they report it? So this is a wall like Microsoft, and it has pretty good support. So you're in the buy the dip mode on ServiceNow. NVIDIA, like AMD, made tremendous headway and is in a breakout which has higher target. So they're finally out of this target that they met almost to the penny from when I called it way up here. So they don't need to get back to here and finish this. I don't think that that's doable. So now you're in a buy the dip mode. So what was a descending channel for about a year, they went sideways for a little bit and they just broke out of that sideways moment. So now the dips will be bought. I don't know how deep the dips will be, but you know, expect some drama at 225, 215 to 220. So the whole zone is dramatic because look, that is the neckline that caused all of this. So this neckline, the whole zone, is not likely to be easy. Shouldn't be easy, but is not shortable. Now you're in buy the dip mode. All the targets have been met. So if it falls to 188 or 172, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip mode as a trading opportunity. Fundamentally, it's a pretty good company. I'm going to put that at 182. Okay, perception is that it's the best. I disagree, but perception is. Okta, you can see it. The opportunity to break out is there. They haven't been able to do much with it. They have buyers. Big gap, not for me. If it gets to 58 or lower, I would be interested as a trade. But make sure you're not jumping into regular earnings. I don't know why it doesn't show me the earnings until I go to a daily chart, which is pretty annoying. You can see the upside opportunity. We can see the gap, but there's a gap below. Why do this? Why? That's bad. So come back to the earnings base and get long. This is not an obvious entry point. It should fade a little bit, and then it's a place where I would be booking profits, not getting long into this stock. I don't know what they do. So support around here, better support around here. Also a gap below. Oxy, I was right. Damn it, I was right. Where's my cookie? Okay, so this is a headline stock at any point in time. People erroneously traded it long up here because Buffett was going to buy the company. Well, Buffett is not trying to make money off the stock. He is trying to put it inside of its flat cash flow statement. So don't invest like a whale. It'd be shocker, but you are not a whale. So we don't know what he's planning. I think 70 should be death without a headline that Buffett indeed bought the whole company or something. And there is that headline looming. The last headline was that I read was the SEC opened the door. They said you're allowed to add more shares, and it spiked. And he hasn't said he bought more shares. Correct me if I'm wrong. So buying the dips for now until this is lost, and I think it will be lost before a new high. I think we make a new low recent before we make a new high. PBR, I don't touch this company. I don't trade any Brazilian stocks. For some reason, it's like China. It's the black hole of information, and it's just junk. So you have support here. You have resistance there. You want to trade it, draw a box around here, and trade the edges of that box, and then chase the breakout of one side or the other. that is. In danger of covering this. If they don't break out of 11, I think that you can buy them at 6 or lower. Okay. I don't know. Are you here? Whoever is asking for this? Don't be shy. I just want to know what's going on. What are you asking for? Hopefully that it is an exit point. Okay. So it can go to $760. It's going to have to do it without me. Inverse head and shoulders on this. I would not call it that. Where is the other head? There's nothing. This is an all-time high. Oh, wait. What is this? Oh, my God. Yeah, this is not for me. It can go to here if it wants to. It is definitely not for me. Okay, if you want to say that this is an inverse head and shoulders or a cup and handle to be more accurate, this is a monthly candle. So you need a monthly breakout candle, not a daily breakout candle. What does that mean? It means it needs to break out of here. Come back and test it to confirm this breakout on a monthly. So you need 2 months on that, on this chart. If you go on a weekly, it doesn't even show up. So consider it on a weekly. You need a week breakout and a week retest to confirm it. So to go on it on a daily is having a lot of faith. So for me, I would be buying dips, not chasing it up here. This is the type of stock, the other one, is that it's not for me. I don't know enough about it. No, I don't know what this is. They're trying to get out of this descending channel. So this point right here could be this point right here. This is what they did here. And then this is what happened. So they're going into a prior fail, not for me. They will have to prove it to me before I believe it. Right now, it's in a descending channel. They're selling rallies. This is a rally. So why is this rally different than this rally up here? I'm not sure why. So let me know. This is death. This is tough. So it's clearing a tough spot, going into an even tougher spot. Not for me. Buy dips into 9 or 920 or something.
All right, folks, and that was pretty well. There's still a few more minutes left on the particular video. There's 2 more videos for all the folks that did join and did become part of the membership here with Nick. You can also, those are every Monday, right? So every Monday, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. You can join live. You can join live Nick Chahine, where he goes over 150 to 200 stocks individually, just like you've seen right now. A couple of these go through. There's 3 more videos, well, 2 more aside from this one. They're always posted in the chat room. And for the person asking about the chat room schedule, that's Monday to Friday. Well, it's open the entire day. Let me show you actually really quick here, since we have a little bit of time. This is the blue chat room. This is where you will get push notifications from everything that Nick will post in this channel. So the recordings of the Sunday videos, that's posted. You would get alerted on your phone with that. The form where you can actually put in the tickers for Nick to review. And also the link where you can join live, right? So live Sundays on top of being with him live, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. in this live session, okay? Click on this. You put in the password. It changes every week there. And you basically get the access right there, right? So you get in this first post, make sure to always look at it. You will get alerted on your phone as well. So separately, remember we went over trade ideas, like 20 email trade alerts a month. You will get alerted by email on those. You can get a push notification on that as well. But you can always check the platform here. As an example, let me pop in an ultimate trades. You're welcome, Perry. So here you can look at all the trades, the setups, the charts, right? MasterCard, Microsoft, Lockheed Martin, Domino's Pizza, SPY, SPX, VIX, right? So you have all those trades laid out, credit put spreads, all these things that, you can expand the reports here as well. Credit put spread on Domino's Pizza, right? Where you have a write-up as well with what you need to do there for that particular trade, okay? You can also expand all these reports and just kind of scroll down through them, right? So that you can get a sense. Then you can go to the enhanced trades, repeat the same thing. All these trades are different. right? But they do amount to 20 trade alerts a month, about 5 a week that you get. J&J put spread. So you can basically see you get a full description here of the trades, right? Michael, these are separate from the chat room. So the chat room will have certain types of trades. This dashboard itself, these are where you collect the 20 per month. These will be separate types of trades. That's why you have the chat separated from these. In the dashboard, you basically get it all kind of condensed. This is a new platform that we just released as well. So big shout out there to Vin. Shout out to all the folks that are working on their Tammy. All right. So this all gets updated and all that stuff. These are scanners that you get. These are just, included for you. These are actually the why is it moving? It's an interesting one. We do have a department of people that are flagging down stocks relative to the price action that they're going through. That way you can Pradeep, I don't know if you're in the call, Marcy, but yeah, I got your email. I'll give you a call after the session. I just want to make sure that everybody's questions are addressed because, it was a pretty packed session. I don't expect you to remember everything, but keep in mind, repetition is really what makes things work long term. So when you join the chat room and you're part of the group and you're doing this every single day, that's really when you're going to start getting the groove of things, right? Not just, you don't become Warren Buffett overnight. But then, all right, so again, so this why is it moving really quick, folks? This is a scanner actually, right? So you can, we have a department of people. Shout out to Randy out there as well. So Randy in that department of why is it moving? It's called WIM. You probably have seen this in some brokerages, like this stock is moving because of this or that. Well, the source of that data for you guys to know is actually this scanner. Why is it moving? So there's a whole department of people behind it. They flag these stocks, they flag the price action, they flag the news. You basically get all of these items of stocks that are moving either up or down and why it's happening. So there's a lot of quick hands. There's a lot of scalpers from when we did a couple polls earlier here in the session. This is going to be great for you. News you can trade. This is important to keep track of as well. All right. And then you have top gainers, top closers, top losers, right? And top gainers. You have a chart here as well. This chart is included in what you have here. And I didn't go over the agenda. It's very important. But you can see here a couple of things that are happening. What I like to do is that I'll go on the agenda and I'll just go over any important economic numbers, that are coming out. We have in February CPI numbers, economic CPI index, core CPI. So these are dates you have to mark on your calendar. These are dates that you have to know things are happening. This is all part of our goal and mission to help you become the best trader that you can be, right? It's tools, it's education, it's a community, it's everything more that we can give you. You tell us and we'll take that feedback to the team. The dashboard was obviously a great upgrade. The chat rooms have gone a long way since I launched them with Nick, I think in 2021. Now the chat rooms look totally different. We have way more sessions. We've added all of that because the chat members pretty much want it, right? So you have Nick the entire day, literally the entire day, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. And then you have him Sundays for 3 hours, 10 to 1 p.m. Eastern. Separately, Michael, you get the 20 email trade alerts a month, which we went over here where you can review them individually. You'll get those alerts by email. And if you want to sign up for text, it's free. You can get those text alerts as well. You also have the push notifications. So please make sure everybody to download the Benzinga app from your phone, on the Apple Store, on the Play Store, anything you have. Download the app. It's great for trading. More importantly, if you have subscriptions with us, you can also check them inside. And you can also get push notifications to your phone for your trade alerts that you're getting right here with Nick Chahine. So we've gone over the dashboard, the trade alerts. Somebody was asking me about the educational videos. Yes, Jesse. So if you look here, you'll have access to all of Nick's private library, right? And this is all you need to get started. You do not need a 1-2 year course on learning what's a call and what's a put. That's not realistic. You just need basically what Nick puts out here for you. Everything from what is a call, what is a put, what are the definitions, what is a spread, right? Because there's different types of spreads, call options. You see these videos are not 3 hours, 2 hours. It's not meant to waste your time. It's meant to give you the information you need to start trading, basically. Credit put spreads. This is the bread and butter for Nick Chahine. So I think you guys should definitely check this one out. It's a 17-minute video. Everything from risk management to placing the trade. Everything is in that video, right? Below you have risk management, when to book or set a stop loss, when and how to book profits. You need that so that your winners don't become losers and your losers don't become account destroyers. This is very, very important, especially if you're starting out, right? And there's a ton of people that have been trading that don't know how to do it. So you can do that. Just make sure you watch these videos. It's important to have a plan and a strategy for your trades. This is why Nick uses the SPX over SPY options. This is a lesson on breakout versus swing trades. They're two different things. And again, here, what type of trade is best? We've talked about different types of trades. Second, we have here how to pick what type of trade to buy. We were talking about buying calls earlier. We were talking about selling calls. We talked about iron condors. We talked about credit put spreads. We talked about covered calls. We basically covered almost everything out there for you here, just to show you basically what Nick does on a daily basis. He gets that question asked pretty often as well. So you can come in, ask your instructor anything that you're trying to learn. It could be, hey, Nick, I'm trying to make an iron condor that expires 2 weeks or 3 or a month out on SPX or on Apple, right? It could be a custom trade that you're trying to do or trying to figure out, hey, am I doing this the right way? You definitely don't want to go ask Wall Street Bets if you're doing this the right way. You definitely don't. You want to have an instructor that actually wants you to succeed, right? We're not trying to pump meme stocks. We're trying to help individual traders reach their potential for this particular skill set that will last you basically a lifetime. Pass it on to your kids if you want, but this is a skill set worth putting your time into, right? This is not meant for you to just purchase something and keep it. This is meant for you to make and generate income, as all the other 300 plus members do in the chat room. So I think at this point, Pradeep, I'll be reaching out, no worries. But yes, at this point, folks, I think I have covered the live room as best as possible by every single pixel that you can find. We went through the dashboard, starter, well, all the 20 email trade alerts, how you get each trade alert, where to find the chat room, okay? Which channel is the one that you want to see, right? Inner Circle chat, where everybody's posting, including Nick. And then you also have Nick's important messages, where only Nick is able to post. And this is where your push notifications will come out. As an example, the Sunday video alerts is one. The live session to join the Sunday video, the Sunday recording is there. The form to fill out the tickers for Nick to review on the Sunday stock analysis is right there. This is the morning post where you can join the live session, which is open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5, right? You download this thing, free conference call. It's like a Zoom, and you have all the indexes charted out. So from that point on, folks, if you do have any other questions, we're putting the link there in the chat. If you do have any questions, I think at this point we kind of covered most of them. Shout out to Vin and Randy PDX, absolutely. Michael is asking for Enphase on the YouTube chat. It's so funny that you asked for Enphase because I think Nick said here, a lot of questions about Enphase. Here are my thoughts. So Michael H, I mean, this happens pretty often, right? You were asking about Enphase. Well, obviously Nick covers this in the live session, which is, like video type. This is just a screenshot that he took for the folks, but he does cover any individual stock that you actually put out to him, including if you're trying to trade it, if there's a specific model that you're trying to create or work with, he's going to help you out with that. So with that in mind, folks, I think we kind of covered everything. Big shout out to everybody for being here. PDX, Richard Judge, T. Parry, and everybody that did join, make sure to check your email, set up your account. If you have questions, you know where to email. All the contact to email or call is in the chat or the Zoom chat. Have a safe weekend, folks. We'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. Yes, correct. So Marcy, send me the quick email. You're all good to go. Everybody else, have a great day. We'll see you in the chat room on Monday. Have a great weekend, folks.